Oh,
Like, people say that about TNG,
there's
but
one
I would
episode
never
which you
recommend
have to
someone
skip
skip
if you're not.
TNG
Yeah.
There's one
season
episode
1.
which you have to
Are you
skip if
saying
you're
that
watching
someone
season 1
should
of
start
Stargate.
with season 1,
And that is.
Brian?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe you watch, like, one episode just to get you into it, then start with season 1, if you're new to TNG. If you're doing a
You can
rewatch,
skip
do
One
whatever.
around.
by.
Get
There's
back
an
to it
episode of
now.
Stargate season 1 which is written by the same guy who wrote the terrible episode with Tasha Yar in season 1 of TNG, and it's essentially the same thing again in Stargate.
Okay.
Okay.
Which terrible episode with Tasha?
It's the one
That's
with
one.
the
gonna
it's the one with
say.
the black colony with the vaccine.
Oh yes, that place.
No vaccine, no treaty, no Tasha Yar.
Yes,
No vaccine.
it's essentially that in Stargate, which is
Wow.
the same writer.
Ugh.
You
Oh,
can't
hey,
get
audience,
there
I
any
didn't see you
episodes.
there. I was just here playing some Super Smash Bros. Melee as Captain Falcon. And trying to remember how this actually controls, because I don't remember.
Falcon punch.
Up B is your recovery. Yes, there's a bunch of Yoshis. I remember that. Yeah, hello. How's it going? We're going to watch more Star Trek today. The first episode is going to be Imaginary Friend with the Scary Ghost Girl. Oh, there's a little trophy. Let me get the trophy. No, ow. Need those recovery frames. Ow. Maybe, look, it's been years, man. I'm not good at this game anymore. Yeah, we get the Scary Ghost Girl. Also, wait for... nope. I said I was going to wait for something that I didn't wait for it. Oh, well. That's enough of that. So how's it going? How's the weather?
Pretty well.
Doing fine.
I'm
It's
getting
getting better.
weather today, which is weird because I've decided to stay inside and watch this.
Okay. Yeah, the weather here is pretty awful. It's getting all sunny and warm. And it's just... It's actually getting
You call
warm
that
inside.
awful?
Yeah, because I can't, like, have a blanket around myself. Sometimes I have to have a fan going. It's just awful.
Oh yeah. Gold bedrooms are the best, definitely.
I mean, I guess it's nice if I want to go, like,
Blankets are
outside and do stuff, but why would I do that? What's out
Yeah.
there for me? You can't watch Star Trek. Well, you can, but there's gonna be a lot of glare. You can't watch Star Trek outside very well.
You can listen to it
True.
through your AirPods.
AirPods? Never.
Yeah.
I don't believe in Apple.
Apple just doesn't exist.
Do you believe in apple pie?
Sure, apple pies are pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Do you believe in apple the fruit? Like, because apples are great.
I don't
Yeah,
actually
I
know what
believe in them
brand
until
my
you take a
headphones
bite
are,
out of
but
them.
they're not Apple.
I believe in them until you take a bite out of them.
No, Star Trek is an excellent thing, at least for me, to go and listen to if I'm doing stuff outside and I need something to listen to. Because I don't want to, like, put something new on that I'm not familiar with, because then I'm just going to miss a bunch of stuff. So just put on Star Trek,
Exactly.
and then,
I do that for Let's Play videos when I'm mowing the lawn.
yeah, if I miss, like, half of an episode because I was doing something else, who cares? I know what's happening still. Pick up on it. Usually. I mean, if I'm watching, like, a TOS episode, then maybe not. I don't remember that series nearly as well.
So what's our second episode?
The second episode? Oh, we'll get to it in like 50 minutes. It's fine.
Okay, it's you like today we have the one with the scary ghost girl, and then you went off on a complete tangent and never got back to like. I think you were gonna list the episodes out.
Well, that's pretty on par. I don't know why you would be surprised by this.
And we don't even want to
Sorry,
talk
where was
about
I?
the third episode,
Leadership.
which is definitely the best out of the three.
Oh, it's
Okay, look,
amazing.
the episodes today are the scary ghost girl, I am Hugh, and Rose shoots Riker in the face. That's what's happening today. That's it. There you go.
Blind ghost with clothes.
Right in the fucking face.
Which is completely irresponsible of her. Because she doesn't know what long-term effects that's going to have. It looks like there's not any effects, but she doesn't know that. She could be poisoning him.
I mean, if Riker
Fine.
gets, like, Ironic syndrome from being shot by a ghost phaser, I don't think Ro would mind too much.
Maybe. Especially when she joins the Maquis. Especially because she's probably dead by the time those symptoms manifest. Unless you
Well,
read
it's-
May
and
again,
it's
in
also
which case
weird.
She's probably like the most important person in the Maquis, and she escaped and then became the most important person somewhere else. Because that's beta canon in my understanding. But in my head canon,
I just love
with the rest of the Maquis.
guys. It's just so awkward because just a few weeks ago, when everyone lost their memories, Ro and Riker hooked up. So there's this layer of uncomfortable tension.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, how's the relative audio between me and the rest of people in Discord? I just
Pretty
dropped it
good.
down a little bit. It looked like there was some clipping going on. Should be okay. By the way, 30 seconds till we press play. Well, 25. Everybody be queued up to Season 5, Episode 22, Imaginary Friend. Which, according to Amazon, is Imaginer Friend. Because for some reason it cuts off. It says Lemeo Friend. Everybody get ready to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, that's not a spelling error. It's just for some reason the title cuts off the lower part of the sentence. Lower half.
These really forgettable episodes are my favorite ones to watch on stream.
Because we could just ignore it and talk about whatever we want.
Yeah, and because this is where, like, because there isn't a whole lot of logic to them, so a bunch of really random stuff can happen.
So that kid is Nolly Thornton, the actress kid. She shows up a couple of times here, and she also shows up in the Deep Space Nine episode where Odo is investigating a holographic village with Dax. She's the little girl that befriends Odo. What are you? Wait, who's listening to what in the background? Something listening from it. What?
But that wasn't
Dude in
me.
the background.
I've been muted, so that's not me.
Okay.
It's funny too because the guy playing her dad gets a lot of screen time here. Jeff Allen, playing Ensign Daniel Sutter. Like he's on screen a lot for what is a pretty small like supporting role.
Sorry, who is? Say again.
This guy, the actor.
He's on screen. Yeah, I don't recognize him. Guess it's just in the background.
No, and he's like not particularly a well-known actor or something. I mean, he's done a bunch of TV stuff, but he gets a lot of screen time in this episode.
Okay, good to know. Always looking out for supporting actors in the background. He's not nearly as good, I assume, as Tracy, but you know, he's there.
I don't know. This episode I find kind of dull, so I'm just trying to find interesting things about it.
Yeah, this episode, not too terribly much happens in it. It's just gonna be like the scary ghost girl talking to the regular girl, and then people think she's crazy for talking to a ghost girl.
Get some Alexander stuff, I guess. That's kind of fun.
Why do grown-ups make imaginary friends into such creepy stories in their TV shows and movies?
Because it's ripe for the
Kids
picking.
are little psychos.
Oh, look, it's that same nebula, but they tinted it red this time.
That looks like a
exactly the
still
same.
matte painting or something.
That's where they hid from the Borg. That's where Kirk went to hang out. Shows up all over the place.
So they don't just reuse real life locations; they use imaginary ones as well.
Yeah, of course.
I have to think that also, in the Star Trek universe, Vasquez rocks actually exist on Earth.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of places all over the galaxy that just
I
look
like
a
how
lot
in Star
like
Trek
it.
2009, Vulcan, the surface of Vulcan is just completely covered in Vasquez rocks. The whole planet.
They just
Vasquez rocks as
copied
far
and
as the eye can see.
pasted.
Oh, it's a non-corporeal life form. We don't see those all the time.
But it is linear.
It's
It
a
is
half
linear.
NPC. No, it's a half PC.
If there's one thing I've learned from
no, this is the actual playable character.
if there's
Does
one
Dr.
thing that
Crusher
I've
not
learned
notice
from the
little
next
orb of light?
phase is that little tiny flying orbs are
She
always
doesn't
a
see
bad
it because
thing.
they added it in post-production.
How did that go? How was the next phase? I was mad I missed it.
No, we just started the stream. What do you mean? That's the third episode.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking the adventure game. I thought that was
Nurse
Oh, the adventure game.
McCluckage?
Yeah.
What was it called? Judgment Rights.
Right.
It's pretty good. Well, I mean, the stream was pretty fun. I don't know if the game is good.
Right. That was the important part.
I don't know that I would recommend going and playing it yourself. It's kind of
Yeah. No, that. Yeah.
It's a product of its time.
it's old. It's very old. No, Troy's not going to get impregnated again. This isn't a Troy. Well, it's a little bit of a Troy episode, but not that kind. This
What
is a
was
child
the
episode.
most arbitrary puzzle that you found in that stream? Like, what was the craziest solution the game expected you to come up with?
Apparently the ones that we didn't come up with because we basically failed the first mission, and I don't know what else we could have done. Nothing else seems to relate to each other. Really, the solution in the first mission should have been use gun on man, and that would have solved it. But it wouldn't let us.
So we've got 8 people in the voice chat right now, and who knows how many people watching on Discord and on YouTube. So raise your hand or put something in the chat or whatever if you ever actually did have an imaginary friend.
I did.
No. Not me.
I had imaginary girlfriends. Does that count?
Oh.
Did your... Seriously, look how creepy she looks. She looks like a ghost. The hairstyle
She
and the
just
dress
looks
just
bored.
screams old school horror movie.
She looks like Small Wonder.
She
Oh,
kind of
God,
looks
yeah.
like if Alice in Wonderland, well, if we're more of a horror movie. She looks like Alice.
Very robotic.
Don't trust
Oh,
her.
really late intro this episode
Watch
too. Like
the-
we're 5.5 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
Please-
5
What's the
stars.
stars behind
In a
this?
second.
There
There they go. Goodbye. And they're gone.
God damn it.
Who knows where they
I
went?
used to enjoy the TNG intro a lot.
Until
I've ruined it for you.
Yep. Can't even watch it anymore. Just skip it now unless I'm watching with you
Look,
guys.
because of the
Like,
format
even
of
if it
this
was a
stream,
bad episode, it
I've
was
had to
always
watch this.
fun to watch.
I've had to watch this intro so many times, and it's just getting old. I'm so done with this intro. But we can't skip it.
We've seen it hundreds of times.
Hot tip: if you want to continue to enjoy something, don't watch it with super fans.
Yes.
that goes for anything like
Seems like a good
Shakespeare
strategy.
plays or novels.
Have you considered that in the Shakespeare play, everybody is insane and makes terrible decisions all the time?
Well, now I have. Thank you for ruining it for me.
Yeah, now I can't read Shakespeare ever again.
Ah, okay. Just all of
That's it.
Shakespeare. It's done. It's
Yep.
over.
Even the goddamn
To be
sonnets.
or not to be? That is the question.
The thing is, you get no choice when watching TNG.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous Oh, the show's back. Hey, Taya.
Hmm?
I don't know what the kid's name is in this episode, but in the
Forget-
Odo episode, she's Taya. So she's Taya.
Forget
Clara.
Shakespeare. We got something much better written to watch here.
Oh god.
Isabella,
make you
why are you so
happy?
creepy?
Doesn't
So
that
many-
make you happy?
There's so many scenes in this that are just the two kid actors here interacting, and it's like I don't know, it's so boring.
Red Squad.
Oh god, no.
And
And
it's
the
everything is
10-year-olds.
this, like we have so many of these flat medium shots too. This is directed by Robert Letterman. No, this is directed by Gabrielle Beaumont.
I don't know who that is.
She's done some others Trek stuff, but not
Has she done any good Trek stuff?
she did the Disaster we watched a few weeks ago. She does Lower
Okay.
Decks, which is a good episode.
So she does the episodes about young people?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I think this is just maybe a story issue. I mean, I just don't think it's a particularly great script.
That bit in Val where they're just chanting Red Squad over and God, why are there children cultists? That's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Star
It's like
Trek
Lord of the
parenting
Flies.
is not great.
Red Squad was just Lord of the Flies.
I suppose. It's been a really long time since I've read Lord of the Flies. I seem to remember murder. They kind of
Cisco
murdered
was-
themselves, if that counts.
Cisco was chosen as the emissary because he was the only human parent that had a normal relationship with with their child.
Oh, what are you, Taya? What are you doing in engineering? How did you get? Sorry, Clara Sutter. There really needs to be some kind of security literally anywhere on the ship. If someone requests to go to engineering, it just shouldn't let them go. She took
I
the
like to
Herbalist.
think
There's no
that-
stairs.
Like
No,
one
there
of
has
the
to be.
Enterprise's
Well-
security team is just Worf, and then maybe like at most 5 other people. Like
was about
whenever
to say
we see
there-
a security team show up, that's basically all they got.
I was about to say that there are stairs, but that's not quite true. It's the Jeffries tubes and whatever.
Yeah, there's a ladder. There really should be stairs.
Like engineering
Clara,
Voyager is in a separate like chamber. It's actually got doors on it and everything.
When they're around, I have to be invisible, or they might see into my mind. And it is not time yet. The time will come.
wait here. You will receive a sign. Clara is not actually a very common name.
Well, let's see. Since nothing else is happening of much interest in this episode, let's check howmanyofme.com for Clara. How many Claras are there in the United States? Oh, 255,000.
Compare that to, say, Jennifer.
Jennifer, 1.5 million.
Wow. Yeah.
How many Ryans are there?
A lot. It's a very common name.
Probably about the same.
Yeah,
About
Brian's a pretty
560,000.
commonplace name.
Oh,
Check Michael.
How many Jean-Lucs are there?
Okay, in order.
I'm
Or
sure.
Geordi?
Mike-
How many Geordies?
Michael,
How many
4.4
Betas?
million.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah, there's a shit ton of us.
Jean-Luc, it says fewer than 1,669.
Nice.
A non-zero number of Jean-Lucs.
How about
probably
Geordi?
a majority of which named after Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Probably,
shame that
yeah.
there isn't 1701 of them.
Geordi gives the
Yeah.
same number, it just says fewer than 1,669. I guess that's just like the lower threshold. I don't know what's up with that.
That's probably the bottom limit of the data set.
That's the barrel room. It's too dangerous to enter.
It's probably like the standard deviation or the resolution of the data, you know?
So the child actress playing Isabella is Shay Astor.
Astor? I know an Astor.
Astar.
The Astor
Shay, I've
is
never-
the child that Worf made Roostai with. Jeremy
Yeah.
Astor.
Yeah, this actress, she had a recurring role on Third Rock from the Sun. And that's really all I know her from other than this.
Shay is not.
Which
a very
one, the
common
creepy
name
one
either.
or the normal kid?
The creepy one.
The creepy one, yeah, the blonde.
Well, they're both kind of creepy.
At what
Yeah,
point is
it's just
Isabella
not
just
open.
gonna start chanting like Aj naj dol bataluk, Aj naj kim batul? What?
Yeah,
when's that
this is
gonna
very
happen?
like son of Sam or something. It's I don't know, it's very uncomfortable.
Maybe Isabella is a pod wraith.
Maybe.
Oh, what?
A pach wraith.
Mm.
You can't race a
We're not
ghost,
there
Clara.
yet.
She can just teleport. She's a spooky ghost.
If it was a Klingon
Oh,
ship,
no.
we would fight to the death.
Well, he doesn't recognize Isabella, or he doesn't recognize that she's a ghost. Oh, Worf, why don't you know everyone on the ship, Worf? You're chief of security. Odo knows everyone
it's
on the
your job,
station.
homie.
I guess Worf
He
is the
hates
real
you.
fraud.
Go to your room. Return to your quarters.
He hates kids. He's not going to bother to learn kids' names. Come on.
A human child is not a threat. Therefore, I disregard it.
What about a human ghost child? Worf surely believes in ghosts, right? He sees them all the time.
Check out their boots. They have
Oh, yeah,
matching tights and boots in different colors.
They're like mid-calf boots. Leather. Now, I know Riker says they no longer enslave animals for food purposes, but do they enslave animals for skin harvesting purposes? Is it genuine
What?
leather?
That's
Is it-
the leather.
I mean, that's how you get leather, mate. You harvest the skin.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about food.
No.
Ugh.
No, I don't think I've ever eaten cow skin. I've
They
never even gnawed
probably
on
just-
leather.
They probably just grow the skin, like
Bioreactor skin?
yeah, why not?
So boring.
He's like, I really don't want my kid to grow up and end up like Geordi.
Tell me
Chat
more
says in
about
all-
your imaginary friends.
Yeah.
Chat says in all capitals, Klingons killed all their imaginary friends.
They were more trouble
They were
than they
more
were worth.
trouble than they were worth.
They literally did. They killed their gods.
Oh, you're going to offend some people with that line.
If your imaginary friend is a god, that's a pretty cool setup you've given yourself.
I mean, if you're gonna imagine it, why not dream big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for broke.
Now we get Data and Guinan talking about clouds or something because they had Whoopi Goldberg for an afternoon.
When do we get? Do we already have the scene where Riker and Guinan flirt?
Riker and Guinan?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that was a long
while
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah, that was a while back with where he's teaching Wesley how to talk to women.
I think that was the
Shut up,
episode
kid.
where Wesley gets
Tell
a
me more.
girlfriend for a
The
few minutes.
shapeshifter.
Yeah, the shapeshifter girl.
Yeah, that was what, like season 2, 3?
It is clearly a bunny rabbit with nasty, sharp, pointed teeth.
My God. What was Wesley's girlfriend secretly the shapeshifter of Kaya Benok?
Oh my god.
There's
No,
actually-
Data was talking about the clouds outside. He said it's clearly a bunny rabbit.
Ah. That's what's draining the ship's energy, or whatever's happening. So is Clara allowed in? Apparently so. Because this is a
Is-
bar.
Yeah, or more generally, it's also just a restaurant where you can get noodles, soup, and ice cream
Plate.
sundaes.
play three-dimensional chess.
But you can get like food in an actual bar as well, but places that children aren't
It's-
allowed in.
It's like a gastropub.
It seems that if you think about it logistically, it makes a lot of sense that the crew quarters, if you had children, would be in some sort of, or maybe all the crew quarters are in separate areas where there's literally no place to get to any of the critical areas of the ships, like engineering or the bridge or the shuttle bays, so that kids don't interfere with the ship's operations.
So faint signal. I was about to comment on what's behind the bar right now. That design in the background. I really like the. I don't think it's an ant farm. I think it's supposed to be like imitating molten lava, where that's like a lava flow. Because you can see the red lighting is sort of pulsating. It's getting brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. It has a nice little fade effect on it, a breathe effect.
Now this is cool. So Guinan tells about her giant I don't know.
Tarkasian razor
Giant-
beast.
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't know enough about Guinan's past. She may actually have like manifested this thing.
Maybe. She has
Fair.
unspecified magic powers.
Those are the most powerful kind of magic powers.
Maybe her razor beast inspired Mark Twain to write something. Maybe she told him about it.
Is Guinan going to be in the next season of Picard? Do we know that yet?
Yes, she
Isn't
is.
that confirmed? Yeah. Along with Q, so we might actually find out something about
I really hope they
what
don't touch
they feel
that.
about each other. They can't not, I should think.
It's got look the thing where they make the magic hands at each other. I think I'm happy to leave that as just something we retcon and pretend
Sure.
it never happened.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But it's interesting. Like Q feels threatened by her. That's weird. That's interesting. Like I want to know why.
I suspect they'll reference that again, but I don't think we'll get any answers.
Rawr,
But
I'm a
we
purple
can explore
dinosaur.
it. I mean, just the fact that Q have a vulnerability is interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Are we gonna get Q Junior? Because I'm pretty sure in Voyager he was condemned to be always constantly watching over Q Junior. They've got to be a package deal now, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Though they can always just hand waves like, "Oh,
Reunion.
he's been on good behavior." They just dropped the deal. It's fine.
You-
Don't worry about it.
They'll have a grand Q.
He was
Grand
actually
Q.
played by John Delancey's son too.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder what he's doing these days. Q Junior actor.
Maybe he's doing Star Trek watch-alongs on YouTube.
Well, that's confusing.
Yeah.
Now John Delancey named his son John Keegan Delancey. So now they're just both John Delancey. That's not helpful. So Q2 is the last thing that he's ever done in acting. He's not an actor. He just did some work with his dad.
You got that right.
I suspect if they continue that storyline, they'll recast.
And they might bring him
I'm getting
back.
like scenes. I'm getting like vibes from Isabel that like Barclay gave off in the opening teaser of the first Barclay episode. Where he's like trying to act badass, but he's just a doofus.
So if we want to get rid of Isabella, you could take her into sickbay and let Dr. Crusher do her thing. Give her a little snip in the brain. Get rid of it. No more Isabella. Make her forget.
Is this me or is Troy actually being a decent counselor this episode?
Yeah.
All this seems reasonable.
That happens.
Like, mentioning your friend is not a problem. Maybe she needs more friends.
She doesn't work. She doesn't do any work with
Makes
Hugh.
sense.
Oh, does she? She doesn't counsel Hugh.
I don't think so.
I like the zigzag sculpture in the background.
It makes me a little uncomfortable, thinking it's just gonna fall over.
Yeah.
It won't, because
Yeah.
it's balanced with those weight things on the wire. Why are grown-ups so mean? Why are you guys so mean, grown-ups?
I didn't say I was a
Taxes.
grown up.
Everybody here.
Taxes.
Taxes are why you're mean.
I'm an adult. I'm not a grown up. There's a big difference.
Look, dude, you collect vintage computers. That's not exactly a childlike activity.
I also roll funny colored stones and pretend I'm somebody else on Thursday afternoons, you know.
Let's go engage the self-destruct sequence for fun.
Destroy the ship, Clara.
Oh boy. Don't worry, Clara. They won't
Chad
die.
asks
It's
if
just
they're-
a
if
fun
the
game.
next
They're just
season
gonna
of Picard is going to have an episode in it called QAnon.
when you mess with
Oh,
the
God.
warp core, they're just going to join me, and then we can all be friends together, Clara. What are you wrestling over there? Doing some taxes?
Big taxes. Sorry
Big
about
taxes.
I'm just glad it's not me making noise this time.
Okay. Also, I just noticed the little panel next to the door. The top button on it is just the Starfleet symbol. That's the Starfleet button. I guess that's like a panic button. You press that and security comes.
It would have been an amazing ending if, like, at the end they make it so that she's visible to everyone, and then just like Worf shoots her and she just explodes.
Whoa.
It's like when Macduff dies. It's a big special effect. And
Star Trek
everything.
Adventure Game Solution. Use gun on ghost. Solve it.
That would
No,
be pretty
I want Worf to
traumatic.
like punch the kid or something.
He can
That would be
try.
pretty
Grabs onto
traumatic
her
to the
legs
kids in
and,
the
like,
audience.
Spins around in a circle.
that. Worf does the double-fisted like overhead
The hammer
smash. Yeah, and then their head just explodes like a watermelon.
And that
But-
would spice up the episode.
It can't explode. She's a ghost. She just phase out of existence.
I'd like to see them get into some sort of physical martial arts fight, and Isabella would win.
Well, she has to. The Worf effect, like the Matrix. It's like Neo and Morpheus.
Isabella knows kung fu. So what's the actual plot of the episode, by the way? What's been happening? I don't know what the deal is here.
So this kid's been
Isabella's
doing
screwing
creepy
with the ship
hazing.
somehow.
Yeah, and Geordi's arguing with Ensign Suter about what to name a nebula.
Ensign Suter? Is that the dad guy's talking to now?
Mhm.
Okay. Not Lon Suter. That's a different Suter.
Not
Yeah.
the serial killer.
I like to think that like they were arguing about what they should name like this nebula earlier, and if Suter's nebula was seriously considered, I like to believe there's just some random red shirt who works in like astrometrics who gets to just name half the galaxy after themselves.
Is it Suter or Sutter?
Oh God, why is Alexander here?
I think it's probably Sutter. Hang on, let me check the... Yeah,
Sutter.
Nolate Thornton is listed as
Sutter.
playing Clara Sutter. I mean, I'm familiar with the John Sutter, who is big in California history. Big on the gold rush. I think
This would be so difficult to drink out of without impaling yourself.
in the elementary school play I'm thinking of that I was playing John Sutter. Who, nobody's going to remember this. There's some guy that John Sutter was working with. There's some other guy, but I don't remember his name. Now I'm going to look it up, though. Because I'm just... Now all this state history that I forgot is coming back to me. Established in Sacramento.
It's sooner, like you're seeing. It's sooner, Ryan. Sooner, like you're saying suit. It's sooner.
James Marshall is the other dude. The guy who worked with the... who sort of started the Gold Rush.
James Marshall, the actor from Twin Peaks.
Yes, absolutely. James Marshall,
Okay,
the actor from
got it.
Twin Peaks, started the Gold Rush in 1848.
Got it. Wow, he looks great for his age.
Yeah, that dude was the first one to discover a large quantity of gold, and then the owner of the place that he found it, John Sutter, they did some stuff together, and I think they tried to hide the fact that they found gold. Didn't work out for him.
Reasonable enough.
It didn't work out. They did not get rich.
Hot chocolate.
Learning state history in school is always interesting because it varies so much from state to state. Like in terms of what am I trying? I in some ways, there's every U.S. state that isn't like Hawaii and Alaska and one of the like original 13 colonies have kind of similar histories.
Most of
there's-
our California history is 1, gold rush, 2, forcing natives to be Christian. That's the whole history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here in
We have a
Minnesota,
lot of
it's-
missions around the place.
we got it starts with the beavers.
As it often does.
Yeah, Minnesota was founded by beavers and people who, and then eventually like
Look at Alexander's goblet. It has spikes around the outside.
It's the worst cup ever,
How are you supposed to
but he's
drink
really
that?
proud of it.
it
And then
looks
we
like
get
the
to
kind of cup Alexander would make.
Does he have a redundant throat for when he stabs his with this cup?
It's so
completely useless.
it's
We
the
get to
worst
see it
cup.
get destroyed, though. We get to see
It's
his hopes dashed.
It's
great.
the worst cup for the worst dad.
Yep. And then he gets destroyed anyway. So it's like he blames her, of course, but it's like he worked so hard.
I
He said
don't
it took him
sense
days,
anything.
literal days. 2 weeks.
Wait, even the child Vulcan has a bowl cut in the background.
It took him
Honestly,
2
that
weeks
child
to
just
make
kind of
that.
looks like a small adult. What, are you
But
gonna
there is
blame
such a
Claire
thing
for
as
that too,
cloaked.
Alexander?
But there is such
I
a thing
want
as
to see
cloaked.
Alexander fight Isabella.
There is such a thing as cloaked ships and stuff, though.
Yeah?
What the? Yeah.
They meet
That's
energy
true.
beings
It's a
pretty
fair point.
often.
There actually absolutely are such things as invisible people.
As we're going to discover
Price
in
has run
about
into him like a dozen times
60
by
minutes.
now.
Yeah.
Because I'm really in control, Clara. You
I don't-
tried
I don't
to-
know-
Imaginary friend.
I don't understand what they're going for here thematically. Is this supposed to be
Spooky ghost
something
girl.
about?
That's it.
Yeah, but is it supposed to be something about like the inherent distrust of kids, or I don't understand.
They might be building on, like, if you remember early on in TNG with the Shut Up Wesley, the whole thing was if they actually just listened to what Wesley was saying, they would have solved the problem immediately.
Except that also Clara doesn't really understand what's going on at all.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's not like she has an answer and they're just not listening to her. It's like it's this weird, creepy, disconnected thing.
Yeah.
I wish this episode would be more cringe. It would be so much more fun to watch.
Yeah, if they leaned into it more, if it was like Sub Rosa, at least it'd be more fun.
Yeah.
It's not bad enough to be bad good, you mean?
Are there any good Star
Yeah,
Trek
oh, yeah,
I think
episodes
that's
with
true.
ghosts in them?
Oh,
Are there any good what?
Star Trek episodes with ghosts. That's a good question.
Oh,
Ghosts.
Sub
Yeah.
Rosa's really good.
Anything with ghosts?
Jordy
Yeah.
and Rolaren
Sub Rosa?
get turned into sort of ghosts.
well,
Ro
yeah,
thinks
they're
they're
not
ghosts.
actually
Power play
ghosts, but
Pretty
Ro thinks they are,
decent.
there's some good DS9 Bajoran stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, good ghost episodes. I mean, ghosts kind of never result in good episodes or good
Cisco's
TV.
mom was kind of a ghost. That was
Yeah.
a decent episode.
I wonder, there's got to be TOS episodes.
There's gotta be.
You know about this episode? You know about this TNG episode? And sorry about the noise. I got the lawnmower going off and my window's open. But the good thing, the thing about this episode, when I knew this episode was coming up and we were gonna watch it. Well, I kind of didn't know about the episode. But I was kind of thinking this was the one, the imaginary friend. I was kind of figuring that this was going to be about the imaginary kid, that was never there in real life, and then her mom dying, which never happened. It never actually happened.
Okay. We do get,
So Deanna Troy is once again having chocolate.
yeah,
Yeah.
because this is the 90s and she's a woman. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Power Play. That's also a ghost episode, and that's pretty good. Where Troy, Data, and O'Brien take hostages in 10
Oh,
Forward.
yeah.
I guess also there's the one with Evil Keiko, which was pretty good.
It was
I
weird.
mean, I don't know. Possession is quite the same as ghosts. I mean,
Isabella's
Okay.
technically not a ghost
that's
either,
all
but
technically different.
Well, you can't have
Okay.
possession
They're not
unless you
gonna call
have a
it ghosts.
ghost.
I think
So-
technically we'd never see an actual ghost in Star Trek.
Yeah, like by those standards, Sub Rosa's not even a ghost episode because he's
Right.
he's an alien.
Right.
Everything supernatural has a scientific explanation.
Yeah, but let's say
Some
ghost
kind of
life or ghost
anaphasic
theme.
life form.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Well, there
know
was
ghosts when
an
we say one.
Maybe it was the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine at the end of it where Commander Sisko is talking with Jake, and Jake is saying, "Oh, so we thought all along that these were supernatural beings and they're just aliens in the wormhole."
Yeah.
And Sisko has some clever response to that, but I can't remember what it was.
It was basically saying, like, oh, why shouldn't we consider them gods? The Bajoran considers them gods. They actually can see the future, so whatever, man.
Yeah.
They can see the future, therefore they are basically just prophets. Why not?
I'm definitely not going to join the Church of Q. I can tell you that.
He seems like the kind of guy who might actually appreciate some adoration.
Oh. You're right.
Yeah,
We do
Too
see
much.
exactly one actual ghost. We see a ghost in the holodeck during the Christmas Carol bit with Data. That's a spooky
Oh,
ghost.
that's a good point.
But that's
But
just
that's a hologram.
It's
That's
a
not
holo
real
ghost, but it is actually a ghost where everything else is like an anaphasic life form or non-corporeal.
Hey,
entity.
real quick, if they're talking about how Isabella can't like harm people on the ship, but she's doing like more mischievous stuff, did Isabella seriously take the time to like walk all the way to Troy's quarters just to knock over her coffee and then leave?
Yes. Yes, she did. Isabella is
You know
very
what?
petty.
Clara has a toy stuffed dinosaur.
Dinosaurs
that.
aren't real. They were planted there by paleontologists to try to get us to believe in the devil.
They were planted there by
dinosaur-
the
We're
what are they
stuffed
called?
dinosaurs also wearing underwear.
Yeah, I was noticing it
Posted
has
that on the
shorts
hand.
and a star on its head. That's a weird thing. Good job, prop department.
I wonder what toy store they found that at. There's got to be a story.
Yeah. You know, they're just like, we need something, run down to the 99-cent store and just grab whatever you can. Probably had more clothes.
Is there a spooky ghost in the closet? Oh, now she's going to be behind Troy when she turns around, isn't she? Yep, there she is.
Get a faded-looking laser effect here.
What was that? What are you doing, Isabella?
Dun.
Isabella, you can't just shoot people. What are you doing?
I'd like to circle back to the chocolate comment.
Sure.
If you had a replicator that could make your daily dietary needs in any type of food you wish, why wouldn't you have chocolate souffles for every meal? I mean,
Because you're going to get sick of it.
I mean,
You need
Yeah.
variety.
yeah, sure. You still have variety, but you can have chocolate cake. You can have chocolate sundae. I'm just saying,
Maybe-
if you have a favorite food,
Maybe
a
betazoids
replicator.
with like different dietary needs, and so they need to eat just like a ton of candy all the time.
I mean, I've got this tub of ice cream in the freezer that I started eating after I got my wisdom tooth taken out, and then I just kind of stopped because I'd have enough. It's done. I'm done with it. I should just throw it away. I'm not going to finish it. It's delicious, but you know, I'm sick of it. Give me something else. Can't always be chocolate.
It can be vanilla.
I'm not big on ice cream, but I take the point. I think that's a really interesting point.
If you eat too much ice cream, you do get big on it, though.
Yes, true.
But on both.
Isabella shot the counselor. So, in this episode, Isabella has an imaginary friend. In the next episode this kid appears in, she's the one who's imaginary. It all comes full circle.
Which episode?
The one where she's a hologram with Odo.
Yeah, with Odo.
She's a holographic child.
Computer, delete the wife.
Computer, delete the child. Now,
Computer, delete Tuvix.
suppose you have a hologram that's pregnant, a pregnant hologram. So, like, let's say that the Irish or Scottish or whatever they were man's wife was pregnant. If you say delete the wife,
that
does that
looks
also
awesome.
delete the fetus?
Well,
Or does it just
Well,
plop
that's
out
like-
of the ground?
Well, that's
when
the
does
same.
life begin?
That's the same question as if you drink holographic wine. What happens when you walk out of the holodeck?
well, I think that that's replicating the stuff that you're ingesting, right?
Yeah, that's actual food. Like you can eat actual food in the holodeck. It'll just make
No,
it.
oh.
Yeah, it'll make it via replication.
Okay, but say I specifically pick up an apple that's holographic and I eat it.
Then as soon as it's inside of you, I think it would disappear, wouldn't it?
That would feel weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
There would be a medical condition name for the sensing vanishing of food from your body because it's
It would
holographic.
probably cause cavitation inside of your body. Weird.
I forgot. Is there ever a scene where like they are doing a surgery and they give someone like holographic organs or something?
Yeah, Neelix. They gave him holographic lungs in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Voyager.
In response to a comment, I don't want anyone to expand on this, but I just want to put it out there that theoretically, the holodeck could make literally anything with its holographic projection out of food. It could make people out of actual edible food. It can make chairs out of food. I don't want to expand on this idea, but just it could do that.
Computer,
Making people out
begin
of
Riker
food.
cannibalism program number
Oh
349.
no!
He specifically told you not to.
Is Army Hammer going to be in the new Star Trek movie?
Oh boy.
No one.
Oh,
Okay.
this is the same Arboretum where Troy's going to go through some trauma where she discovers she has a dead sister.
Oh yeah.
I know.
We've got this anonymous gardener back there.
Isabella, have you been threatening children again?
Picard would, if I was Picard, I'd be like, look, do you want to tell, he obviously wants some attention. Do you want to just like play some badminton and stop attacking us?
The solution to this episode, as in many episodes, is just talk. There's a spooky ghost who's trying to destroy the ship, just talk to it, it's fine.
That's always what the solution is.
Yeah. That's every time in TNG, the solution is talk to it. Unlike in adventure games, where the solution should be use gun on man.
Mm-hmm. So many great episodes wouldn't have happened if like there's just like a hotline for aliens.
Quick, shoot her. She's corporeal. You have a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan. I was going to mention. I popped into your play along the other day just for a little bit while I was on my lunch break, and the first thing you were doing was trying to murder an unconscious man, which I thought was interesting.
Hey, I saved before I tried that. I just wanted to see if the game would let me. No, most of the time, what I wanted to do is I wanted to stun everybody on the station because they were actively trying to destroy the whole Federation. Stun everybody, then solve the puzzles.
Sort it out, yeah. Well, at least you didn't try to eat anybody. So
No, I didn't try to eat anybody. Oh, because you're treating Clara so well with your gaslighting and your emotional manipulation. What's wrong with you, Isabella? So, for the people here who did have an imaginary friend as a child, did your imaginary friend ever threaten you?
Definitely not.
No? That's not a thing?
I like to think that there's just like a checklist for when your morality is being tested by an alien species that's just like hanging on the wall somewhere on the Enterprise. And they're like, all right, step 1, don't attack them. Step 2, try and start a dialogue. Step 3, create some kind of random device that you can use to kill them, and then just don't use it.
How uncomfortable do you suppose that Captain Picard is right now that he put his arm around a child? He hates children.
Yeah.
He's matured. He's
a
matured
role
by this
model.
point.
I mean, he doesn't want to deal with this crap.
No, he still hates children.
You can see the top-down lighting on his uniform there. You can see the top-down lighting on his uniform there. It looks like it's made of wool or something. We almost never see that angle.
I believe that they were.
Yeah, you can really see the texture here in HD.
Oh, bye, Isabella.
This episode is still going, huh?
Only for
almost
another
done.
2 minutes.
You think these creatures have just like inhabited all Federation starships in like the Abrams universe, and that's why there's so many lens flares everywhere?
It does seem like it would be a little difficult to work on a JJ ship, just because everything is so bright all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody has to wear sunglasses.
I mean, that would be pretty rad, though.
including the Vulcans.
Geordi is like, I'm so happy right now.
Okay, there's the dinosaur. There's the... Oh god, it's Isabel. Like, wait, but you left. How are you here? We saw you fly out of the ship. What's happening? I'm not. Get out of here. Get away from the ghost.
That girl will eventually become the first ghost in Starfleet.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you get through the academy as a ghost? Every time you show up for a class, you can take as many as you want because you just keep phasing back and forth.
In the introduction to the first Narnia book that was published, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, C.S. Lewis gives a author's note to his granddaughter Lucy, and he says that by the time this book is published, you'll be too old for fairy tales. However, someday you'll be old enough for fairy tales again.
Nice.
So are you guys ready for an actual good episode? Because coming up in 1 minute is Borg.
Is this a good episode?
Yeah.
It is. It's
one of the
It's
best.
a good episode.
I like that
Borg is an
episode,
amazing
Borg.
It's good. It's sadder than it used to be, but it's good.
Because
Why is it
Sadder in the context of Picard.
Oh yeah.
Hugh,
You know what? Another good one is the best of both worlds.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if
I don't know.
people here have
That's a
not
good
seen Star Trek Picard, there will almost certainly be spoilers for Star Trek Picard during this.
Yes.
Just so you know.
It's a fair warning, yeah.
So if you don't want to be spoiled, maybe go watch Picard and then you can watch this VOD, I guess. I recommend it though. I recommend Picard. Anyway, 10 seconds. Everybody be queued up to season 5, episode 23, and press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
I don't know. I feel like honestly, the Borg are my favorite Star Trek antagonists, but really I feel like the more we see them, the less exciting and interesting they become.
Yeah,
Like in Best of Both Worlds and the episode where they were introduced, that was great, They were mysterious, they were extremely threatening, they were scary.
The Borg
then-
need to be enigmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we have episodes like this where they're like, oh, yeah, here's an individual Borg that isn't very scary, or oh, here's the Borgs are listening to lore, so they can't be that dangerous. Or the Borg now have this, or when they introduced the Borg Queen, whose existence was never really explained. Is there just one? Is there more than one?
Yeah. That does a lot more damage than this episode does, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
the fact
episode.
that only an individual Borg isn't scary is sort of baked in. They're scary because they're a collective.
You're not scared of one locust, you're scared of a swarm.
Yeah, and you get the
it's the fear of the unknown
when
as
you
well.
try and FaceTime them and you just get some random atrium,
Yeah, this episode and Descent are both outliers because this is one Borg away from the collective, and Descent is entire splinter group. I think the thing that does the most damage to the Borg is actually Voyager, because they just couldn't leave it alone, and that's kind of the same reason that I don't want them to explore Guinan and Q in Picard season 2.
Voyager has some weird bits where even Borg that are inside the collective seem to retain some individuality.
Mm-hmm. I remember, I like Seven of Nine's character arc. I liked Scorpion, but a lot of the other.
But then we just kept seeing them; they kept showing up.
I mean, it saved the show. The Borg did, so I can sort of see why.
Yeah. The Borg being in Voyager indirectly led to the Obama presidency.
Kinda.
That's right. That's right.
5 stars.
Yeah.
There was a remark that. There's a remark that.
Bill.
There's a remark that somebody I know made about the Uruk-hai in the Lord of the Rings movies. They said, they can't show anything except them being rawr and killing stuff. The moment they show any Uruk-hai looking at a flower and contemplating, even for the shortest time, they completely fundamentally change what they are, and your whole story arc has to change.
Yeah.
I really like how they treat the Borg in Picard, where we're dealing with, not with the actual collective, but with a group that has been split off, and like, how do you deal with the trauma of being a drone for
You
so
can't
long?
destroy a Borg crew by assimilating someone that's really sad. That seems kind of contrived. Like, the Borgs don't care about your feelings.
No, they don't. But the people who used to be Borg care about their own feelings.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first two Borg appearances, like, the fact that it seemed like the reason the Enterprise was able to win and survive was basically just like a random fluke.
Yeah.
Do you think that they give all the new Borg a handbook for the recently assimilated?
Probably.
Like in Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Precisely.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to have the de-assimilated Borg remain on a cube. That seems like it would just make it more difficult, but it's convenient at least.
They'd be like taking a prisoner of war after rescuing them and keeping them in the prisoner of war camp.
What if we convert Guantanamo Bay into a therapy center?
I'm really against Dr. Crusher here. Like, everyone else, I think, has the right idea. Like, as soon as there's like, oh, it's a Borg, Picard's like, return of the ship. We're getting out of here. We can't have a two-parter.
So the Borg, the fact that they're already here and there's apparently just another cube, it seems like they should have a very strong reaction to this. Put the entire Starfleet just go gather everyone together. Every single starship you can get.
Yeah.
We really need a Wolf 359 response here. You can't just leave this alone. The Borg are like ants. If you see one ant, or if you see one Borg in your space, you have to actually like go and clean everything very thoroughly. You have to go and put up your defenses.
You just have to put out some poison Borg traps.
Well, that's what they're going to try to do later on.
Yeah.
Like a Borg motel, yeah. I like that you see the exposed brain.
Yep.
And one of the Borg's like, oh man, that's so horrific. It's awesome.
Now, eventually, we'll get a species with a transparent skull, so you can always see their brain, the Galamites. We never see them, though. They're always
written by Rene Echevarria.
Right? Rene Echevarria. Or Echevarria, not sure. Directed by Robert Lederman.
But anyway, like, in this episode, I feel like we aren't seeing any of what makes the Borg good antagonists or aliens. Like, they're not in numbers, they're not threatening, they're not intelligent.
That's not what this episode is about.
Easy, difficult to understand. Yeah, and so that's why I don't think this is a very good episode.
And the character that plays Hugh too.
Disagree completely.
It's on Picard too. The character that plays Hugh is on Picard too.
Yeah, and that's why we'll probably have Picard spoilers.
Yes. Well, Hugh is in Picard. The actor that plays Hugh. Oh no, it is the same actor. That's right. I was thinking of
Jonathan Del Arco.
Yeah. The guy who directed this, Robert Letterman, only directed one other episode of anything. It was Force of Nature, season 7. TNG. He's mostly an editor.
Yeah, Hugh is Del Arco. And Icheb is Manu something. Manu doesn't show up again.
He didn't play Hugh. He didn't play Hugh.
No.
But we do see Hugh and Picard also, like I said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode has absolutely nothing to do with the collective as a whole in terms of treating them as villains. This is all about, like, what if what happens when you separate them? Because they're a collective. What happens if they're just not a collective anymore? When you have just a Borg?
Yeah,
You have
that's
just a
why-
Borg. It's just
I
a
like
person.
the Borg best when they're like completely one-dimensional, and I kind of wish they never really changed or became more complex.
Yeah, they were more threatening, I think, that way too. And I don't know. This episode it has much broader themes. It's about rights of war and how you maintain prisoners of war and that kind of thing. It's about your influence on other cultures. It's about at the end. It's about debating the ethics of genocide. I mean, there's there's a lot in here.
Genocide.
And self-defense, because they're trying to do
absolutely.
a preemptive self-defense.
It's a war.
I don't know if
like
it's
they
even
say at
preemptive. The
one
Borg
point, it's a
already tried to
war.
kill them.
Yeah, the Borg declared war, even if it's not official or formal. So is it self-defense to commit genocide at this point? Because they're not.
I don't
gonna
know.
stop.
I mean, the Borg commit genocide on the daily,
But do we
from
want
what
to
we
be better
know,
than the Borg?
the Borg don't really have a culture, and
But
being
that's the thing,
assimilated is just hell.
We're not the Borg. We don't
they're
commit
not. They don't
genocide.
have a moral code to follow. They're just take over, assimilate, right? So it's a different kind of thing where we have to consciously make that decision.
All they do is just assimilate. They assimilate.
Like the answer
Yeah,
in
they-
World
they're
War
like-
II is
they're
not
like
to
a
go
virus.
take every
Assimilate
Nazi
people,
and put them
but-
in an extermination camp. That's not. You
But
got
they
to make some
assimilate
changes.
objects too.
Exactly, but that's the thing, which is where do you draw those lines? And it's that I think is the core of this episode. It's more than anything, it's Picard wrestling with these decisions.
No formal declaration of war. The Borg are not going to send you a piece of
They
parchment with their
didn't.
signature
They
on
didn't
it.
fill out the paperwork.
Do
I think-
Borg really even have a how would that even work? Like,
Yeah, I don't know if you could get him to sit down for a meeting. I think Crusher's. I like that she makes some valid points here, but I think she's just way too lax on this whole thing.
yeah,
For what we know of the Borg at this point, yes. Or for what's been written of the Borg at this point, yes.
We know basically nothing about the Borg. They just show up and start killing. We don't know anything about them.
Initially, they just
Go ahead.
seem interested in technology, and they're not assimilating people. It's not really until First Contact that they flesh out the whole assimilating people into drones.
Well,
The only person we see
Oh, they-
assimilated is Picard, but it's
No, they
kind of
kept-
explained that they want a human representative.
They wanted a human representative as their spearhead, but they make it clear in every episode up until this point that the Borg are featured that they're going to assimilate everybody they can.
Well, not in the introduction.
I don't think-
they were
Yeah.
only interested in technology in like their original appearances.
I mean, it's a pretty clear implication that, I mean, they give Picard like very similar attachments to everyone else. I think it's a reasonable inference that that's a typical thing, that they take someone and they attach the things to them.
Yeah, but we don't see any of that until the earliest Best of Both Worlds, and I think they really develop it in First Contact.
In Best of Both Worlds, Shelby has that line. It's like, oh, I thought they weren't interested in humans, only our technology. It's like their priorities
Right.
seem to have changed.
And then
Right.
in either First Contact or Picard's like the Borg never change.
Why is Picard sometimes unbuttoned? Like he's on the bridge or anywhere else. Can he do that when he's off duty in his quarters?
Oh, he can go anywhere he
No.
wants. He's the captain.
Here's off duty.
He
Yeah,
can't
he can
even be
hang out
undressed when
and
he's on
fence with,
duty because he's the captain.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, this is not a
like
room that I
eating
don't think we've
breakfast.
ever seen before.
I think
what
we
is this,
have.
like a
I think
rec room?
we just
It's a
last
shuttle
saw it in
bay,
season
regress.
1, maybe 2.
This is just one of the Enterprise's many, like hundreds of random gymnasiums that make up half the ship.
We did previously see Picard duel some random ensign before in this room.
I think early on they used this room as a shuttle bay, like season 1 or 2 or something.
Can anybody
they-
read
they-
that sign on
They
the door
brought
there?
Whoopi to
No.
a different set this time.
That's too blurred out.
Can you unblur it?
No.
Enhance. Enhance.
I mean, I can
in
enhance it, but
CSI.
it usually doesn't work very well for text.
Oh, that's right. I forget that Guinan came from a world that was destroyed by the Borg.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Was that before or after she met Mark Twain?
That
She seemed pretty happy in the
Hmm.
Mark Twain episode. Okay, I'm getting a little screenshot of that. And I'm gonna try to enhance it, and then we'll see what it looks like if we enhance it.
We might see the center door behind them as well here.
Now, this probably isn't gonna look like much of anything. So on the YouTube stream, this is what it looks like enhanced. That doesn't help. It got rid of some of the grain. That's a what? No, it's not blurred. It's just blurry. Yeah, it doesn't work for this kind of thing, especially at this resolution. I know there's a 2 at the start. It's room 2.
Fencing room 2.
Fencing room. Not even just general gymnasium. Specifically fencing.
Well, it's
Yes.
Picard's ship.
they got a kilometer worth of rooms to work with. You know.
Can
Say,
Picard,
a room where you sell stolen goods.
They have a
Does
room for
Picard
sword
get
fighting
to,
with a
like-
foil. They have a room for a rapier. They have rooms for broadswords. They have rooms for everything. It's all very
can
specific.
Picard pick what all the gyms are because he's the captain?
Yes.
So then all the gyms on the Enterprise are just for sports Picard likes.
All the reason movies died out, at least on the Enterprise, is that Picard insists they're all in French.
Yeah. Picard's like, yes, this will be my book reading room. This will be my archaeology room. This will be my noir detective simulation chamber.
Here's my
So he
action figure collection room.
Here's my flute room.
refers to himself as third of 5, but
I'm enjoying his very.
aren't other Borg designations numbers of numbers and not like it's 7 of 9, not 7th
It's not
of
7.
9?
I was thinking
I mean,
that, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
think they
something
did
Voyager
7 of
changed.
9 to make it more pronounceable. 7.
Yeah.
I know the real world reason, but in the in world reason doesn't. There's no explanation why it's 3rd instead of 3.
3 of 5, 3rd of 5.
I'm enjoying. He always sounds calm, especially in this scene.
I mean, I do think 3rd of 5 makes more sense.
There's some impressive sound fraud here.
So, like, the Borg, yes, the collective is a major existential threat to the galaxy, but just one Borg, you can just hang out, you can just debate grammar with them.
They just give him the 3-dimensional chessboard, and he just goes nuts. Put him in the holodeck, give him Farisi squares. He'll die in there, and then you won't have to worry about this question anymore.
Jonathan Del Arco is Uruguayan. Or Uruguayan American.
I believe
No,
he
he is
auditioned
Borg.
for Wesley Crusher.
How interesting.
Yeah, he auditioned for Wesley, I think, along with a lot of other people.
But the role that he eventually got, people like him a lot more than Wesley. Worked out. Probably got paid a
He's
lot.
already
though,
a nice
overall.
guy at heart.
Not the highest bar with Wesley there, but yeah.
That's not very nice of you, Hugh.
I don't know if the fencing room we see in this episode is the same as the first fencing room we see, but if you look at the picture I just posted, that back wall of the shuttle bay is the same as the back wall of the fencing room.
Can unblur that for a moment just to show you on YouTube.
Over 300 confirmed assimilations. Right now, I'm contacting the collective, and I've already traced your IP address. Resistance is futile, kiddo.
This brings up a general big question too. You know, how you act in the state of war is very, very different than how you act in the state of peace.
Inter arma einem silen legas.
Was that Latin?
In times of war, the law falls silent. Cicero.
It's also an episode title, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Bashir quotes it off to him, to Admiral Ross. Oh no, Admiral Ross says that in Latin to Bashir, and Bashir translates it. Like, is that what we have become? A 24th century Rome.
Really, really smart storyline here with Geordi, and they reference his disability, being blind.
Not his disability of he can only make friends with artificial beings.
It's really big of them not to mention his social disability.
Even calmer than the Seven. You know who Seven was. She wasn't calm when she was first activated.
It's very nice of the Borg to take children like Seven and raise them up to adulthood. They don't just discard them. They can live a full, happy life with the Borg.
They put them in a maturation chamber.
Yeah.
They speed that process up.
Yeah, the Borg, I don't think they bathe, so a Borg cube probably smells real bad.
Yeah.
Probably
and they're
going to get
sealed
sick
in those
just standing
suits. Oh man, they all stink, right?
there. Yeah, they have the tight leather and latex all over their body, and
Have you ever had a cast and then you take the cast off and there's all this skin underneath?
I assume
have to scrape
Borg
it off.
nanoprobes have some sort of antibacterial properties.
Maybe they just don't care. Maybe that's what that fog is in the ship, you know?
Well, if you didn't, then each individual Borg would just get some sort of disease and disintegrate ultimately and die of it.
Maybe they only care about stuff that's a threat, and stuff that just makes you smell funny they don't care because it's their Borg. I mean, what difference does it make?
Well, it's a threat in the sense that if you get gangrene or whatever pirate disease, I don't know.
Scurvy?
Hugh.
Debilitating rickets inside of your Borg suit.
Here we see just the Federation trying to assimilate people.
Oh, that is a persistent theme in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, you're going to learn to adapt to service us.
They do it.
Chocolate and root beer.
Root beer, right. Yeah. The Federation does it with root beer.
The Pax Federation, yeah.
In case anybody's curious, Jonathan Delarco was 26 in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in interviews too, he said that he based the way Hugh acted on essentially what he was going through at the time, which was recently losing his boyfriend to AIDS.
Wow. Oh, so it's just numb.
He takes off his eyepiece here. This is so cool.
That's a very 90s thing that you see on the front there, the holographic image.
So what's under that eye? Looks a whole lot like what we see certain people's eyes look like in Picard. When you take out bits of it.
We don't talk about eyes in Picard.
Why not?
Oh god, that's right. Yeah.
I feel like individual Borg drones are smarter than this. Like, when Seven was disconnected from the collective, she was still generally able to do evil scheming and stuff.
So,
and like
they don't fall victim to groupthink.
I feel like the Borg would kind of understand, like, yeah, people don't want to be assimilated, and they wouldn't just care even if they were disconnected from the collective.
In the Voyager episode, I don't know what it's called, but the one where Seven it meets up with those three people who are linked into like a mini collective, but have otherwise been freed from the Borg. We get some scenes of what it was like for them just after they were severed from the collective, and they're just completely horrified. Like, oh God, look at what they did to my body. This isn't my hand. This isn't my arm. What did they do to me? It's awful.
So the impression that I get from Hugh is that he wasn't assimilated.
In the Matrix.
He was one of the ones that was grown
Maturation
in the maturation
chamber?
chambers. Yeah.
Ryan, I think it's in the Matrix you're thinking of.
That's a different one, I think. That's the
Oh.
one where she finds the thing in her dreams, where the Borg go while they're
Yeah,
regenerating.
Unimatrix Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unimatrix
That's
No,
a
the
Zero.
similar
one-
thing, but I'm thinking of something else. I don't know what it's called.
The episode you're thinking of is called Survival Instinct. It's the one with Vaughn Armstrong as
Oh
a
yeah.
drone.
Now I think I know. It's Survival Instinct. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I watched Star Trek.
When they were on the planet after they crashed, they all start regaining their individuality, and Seven
And
is the only
freaking
one
out.
who. Yeah, she's freaking out because she is essentially a drone who was grown in a maturation chamber. All she has is
Yeah, they
remnants of
specifically
child.
call out that the other three were assimilated as adults. One of them was on a starship. One of them was apparently an accountant. And then Seven was just a child. She didn't know anything else at that point. She was just been Borg
Yeah.
her whole life.
Here, I don't think it's coincidence they have two black actors touching on the topic of accepting others and accepting others unlike you.
Imagine being an accountant in the Borg collective. Man.
Yeah.
I don't think he was an accountant in the collective. I think
We-
that might have been just before he was assimilated.
We've spent way too much money on nanoprobes this month. I don't know how we're ever going to get back in the black. We've got to assimilate more ships.
Look, every ship you take, you're spending more to get it than you're getting back from the assimilation. You can't make up for that in volume. You've got to reconsider your approach.
We have to stop assimilating ships, and we have to assimilate shipyards. Go wholesale.
A scout ship, a Borg scout ship. Yeah, we should really be freaking out about this, guys. Can we get the fleet? Just the whole fleet. You cannot let any scout ship in your space.
At this point in Star Trek, we're still supposed to think like, the galaxy is vast, and there's maybe 100 starships, and they are spread out across the entire Federation. So by the time they got there, it wouldn't matter.
They should have
Right?
called them when they first found Hugh. When they found the
Wasn't
crash
Wolf
ship in the first
359
place.
40 ships?
Something like that.
I don't.
I think
don't-
it was
maybe
around
something like that.
40 ships.
It wasn't that many, yeah. It was a pretty low number. Meanwhile, for the Dominion War, they gather like 600 ships for a single attack.
Hmm.
They've been busy.
I think they should have as soon as they found Hugh, they just launch a
It seems more understanding
torpedo
than
at
Seven
him,
was.
and then they hide out on some planet and just put a sign out there, just no Federation here, just us primitive lizards with no valuable technology.
Primitive lizards. No, lizards are the highly evolved form of humans.
Okay.
Well, salamanders,
Oh,
but
those are
similar.
amphibians. Yeah.
Oh no!
they hide the Enterprise in an asteroid belt somewhere, and then they just beam down on a planet and just act like stupid monkeys. Just hope they get ignored.
God, whenever we talk about how many, it's like there's only one starship nearby. All I can think of is the time there's only one starship at Earth.
I mean, to be fair, they're always acting like stupid monkeys to the Borg.
Poor Hugh.
Kind of not being happy that she just had a moment of empathy with the Borg.
What is Geordi doing? He spoke to him in the third person.
We're trying to weaponize you.
We're trying to make you into some kind of walking bomb. Geordi and friends commit genocide.
Next on Reading Rainbow.
Are trying to assimilate you.
Take a look in a book.
Oh, that's very efficient, Hugh.
Genocide.
You assimilate, then you know everything. Very good, Hugh. Thank you.
We're trying to assimilate information from you. Assimilate.
So Geordi in this episode has his own discussions here, trying to explain things to Hugh.
So in in the Enterprise Season 3 finale, where the Xindi sphere shows up at Earth, it looks like there's no other human ships around to help destroy it. The only people that show up are the Andorians. But then once they actually do destroy it, and they start flying toward Earth again after it's destroyed, there's a whole fleet there. Why didn't they come help? What were they doing?
Yeah.
They're just hanging out right in orbit.
Oh, some of them were fencing, some of them were working on the Arboretum.
They gave them like the honor guard where they sort of like fly and meet with them and then escort them to Earth. Why didn't they help destroy the probe? Or not even the probe, the actual proper weapon. Worthless. I guess that's just Starfleet tradition.
Always lonely.
Geordi's always lonely.
Friends,
That's his whole character.
First of 5, second of 5, fourth of 5, fifth of 5. Unless you want to use the word comrade, which puts an entirely different spin on things.
Now Geordi has 2 friends, an android and a Borg.
Yep.
Yeah.
He can't make friends with any like pure organics. He doesn't believe in those. Wait, no.
Mm-hmm. He can only hang out with other
Androids,
cyborgs.
Yeah, it's all good.
Holograms.
It's like how real life engineers like computers more than people.
Can confirm.
But surely the Borg, when they saw this, would just conclude, it's like, oh, this is just a hypothetical thing that can't exist. Done. Easy.
So they're just going to give them a logic bomb.
Yep.
Like a puzzle out of a puzzle book.
In engineering school, one of our problems in the textbook was such a shape that couldn't exist, and it was a misprint in the book. But I pointed it out to the instructor. I'm like, this two-dimensional shape is different every dimension you measure it. It doesn't exist. It's impossible. But exact same thing.
Why did so is this why we keep trying to do math? Is just so we can create impossible shapes and just laugh about how they don't exist? It seems kind of mean.
Hey, Klein bottles exist to me.
Mean to who?
The shapes.
What?
No, they exist to me.
Klein bottles. He said Klein bottles.
We're
It's
trying
a
to create.
fourth-dimensional shape, like a tesseract.
Yeah.
Klein bottle has a single surface, and it loops into itself. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can get approximations of them.
Could we just show the Borg a Klein bottle? Would that be easier?
Probably.
I think there's an episode of Futurama where they're in a supermarket and there's beverages in Klein bottles.
Oh, that sounds very Futurama. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that before. Well, not in real life. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I have seen that in real life, I think. Glass blowing. Klein bottle.
Yeah. They're really cool.
They really are way too relaxed about the fact that a Borg ship is coming and they're going to murder you.
Yes, that is true. It's interesting that Picard talks about animal testing there, and it's like they become attached to the creatures when the Federation doesn't do that such thing anymore, saying that it's a bad practice.
I'm pretty sure, Captain, that the Borg are intelligent creatures. You can't just murder them like that. Hugh didn't have a name before he was assimilated, at least not that he's aware of. Otherwise, he might have reclaimed that.
No.
You can tell an episode is getting good when everyone in Discord gets quiet.
Yeah.
We're just listening to Guinan talk.
I just realized that. This is what makes the episode good.
Yeah.
Just talk.
I'm just wondering what's in her head. Is it a Wi-Fi antenna?
The thing is, Guinan doesn't necessarily believe as much as Geordi does. I think she's wavering, but she, at the very least, wants Picard to look at this at different angles.
Yeah.
Does she get 5G on that thing?
So here's the thing about the hat. We do exactly one time see her without the hat. So it's not just like that's the shape of her head. She has a normal shaped head.
I think
doesn't
that
rain
was my.
inside.
I think that was my
No,
childhood
it's just-
theory at one point.
Rippy wanted a hat.
She just likes crazy hats. Yeah, she could put a pizza in there. She could like have a serving tray in case she needs to do
That's
some
right. That's
emergency
how she
bartending.
serves pizza in 10 Forward.
Just crouches down at the table, tilts her head forward to slide the pizza off.
She stays there while you eat it.
Why? Wait, why are we transporting? Just go meet him in the cell. It's safe
Into
there.
the yeah. Why are they going this way? I suppose which teleported Picard the other way.
Captain
They
Picard
never
didn't want to
actually
leave his room.
transported the thing.
Hugh all of a sudden is like, ha, fooled you, assimilates Worf, assimilates Picard, runs onto the
I'm-
bridge,
I'm curious.
assimilates everyone there.
You haven't
They
missed
were
Hugh
running
exactly,
Enterprise,
Zathos. Hugh is on
destroys
right
Earth.
now. Talking to
We've
the
never
why they
Locutus
had
of
him
Borg.
We've never seen the.
Transport in. Oh, weird.
We haven't seen nanoprobe tubules yet. That
No?
I think the first time we see that is First Contact. So the only way we've seen them make a Borg was Locutus, and that
And
was,
that was like surgery.
right, exactly.
The tubes going into Hugh's face are very good in the prosthetic.
Yeah, that's
This is really. This
Yeah,
is
in
a
HD,
really
this looks
good
good.
conversation here.
Yeah. The writing in
he's
this
trying
episode is
so hard.
top notch.
Now that doesn't seem helpful. Because you have, what, billions of drones? Third of 5 what? What do you mean?
I know.
I'm assuming
of his
it's just
group
the
of
other
five.
drones a little scout ship.
Yeah, but he does. Locutus wouldn't have known that he's from the scout ship. Third of 5 of this specific scout ship might work. But you can't just say third of 5. That doesn't mean anything.
Sorry, that's why. 7. That's why 7. They went from 7 and 9 to be 7. So 7 wouldn't be called 7.
Yeah. And 7 at least had a full proper title so you could identify her. 7 of 9, tertiary adjunctive Unimatrix 01. That's specific.
Do you think
Yeah.
the Borg have that problem we have where, like, eventually we're going to run out of IP addresses and we'll have to come up with a whole new system?
We'll
Well, we
come
have
up with
we have IPv6 already, so
Yeah.
no worries. That's plenty.
for
Yeah,
now.
and 7 is more. And 7 is more. It makes sense than the phone name.
I can't hear that line from Picard. You will assist us without thinking of the Picard song. And now it's in my head.
You are Borg.
He
You
said
are-
he will
I am-
assist me.
I am Locutus of Borg. You are Borg.
That is interesting. Picard introduced himself, or Locutus introduced himself as I am Locutus, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, that's because Hugh called him Locutus.
No,
No,
in
in
the
Best of Both
in
Worlds,
the
he said,
episode.
I am Locutus of Borg.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Was
The
it-
Borg did give him that name, strangely.
Just when he was
Well,
in
it
the
was,
briefing
it was
room.
because they
Also,
figured,
the eye.
He said
they
he
figured that
will.
having a figurehead would make it easier to assimilate humans, right? Like it was a special thing, special strategy.
Just when he was in the briefing room, he said he will assist me and he will respond to my questions.
Wait, how do you just remove his memory from being on the Enterprise?
I think you're a little bit ahead. By about like 3-4 seconds. Not too much.
No, I'm right too. Oh,
Someone in the chat just pointed out how Worf wasn't invited to the genocide debate.
Well, we don't need him here. We know exactly what he's going to say. He's just going to start yelling at people about we need to... He just wants to kill people. He just wants to kill the Borg. Now, this doesn't really make sense because the Borg assimilate individuals constantly. And that never messes with them.
Oh, he's in the Borg data bank as opposed to the human data bank.
Yeah, they're sort of used to it among people they are just assimilated. This might take them. This is more insidious.
They don't do
This is the first time where
they don't
they're
wipe
able
the hard
to...
drive of newly re-assimilated Borg.
Well, they say that they do, but they have to upload it into the collective first.
They back it up, then
They
they
should
wipe
wipe it up. Wipe it first. Yeah.
They archive it, then they wipe it, then repurpose it.
See, but it's still kind of in this point where it was before they implied they assimilate people in mass at all. Like,
I think canonically they are assimilating people on mass. It's just off screen and we don't know about it yet.
I really like the phrase Borg rescue vessel.
Yeah, I think
like
Picard's making a massive assumption there.
Yeah, operated by like the Borg Coast Guard, and they have like lifesavers, and they do CPR.
That seems inefficient.
No Borg leaves the collective. I think there's a phrase about that.
I love this. You are many, I am one. What I want doesn't matter. Now he has to learn the value of being an individual.
Asylum means safe place.
He could stay with Geordi. They can share a room. Geordi can set
Enterprise
up
can
a
be a
little
safe
energy
space?
distribution thing. Maybe they could
Yeah,
do
it'd be
some
a wacky
surgery.
sitcom.
oh, it'd be like the Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Data's going to start getting jealous that Geordi has a new best friend.
And
Data's going to
like, try
interface
and
with
break them
Hugh.
up.
Jordy, your inputs have been missed.
I am accessing a new path in the Borg friendship subsystem.
There's Hugh assimilates Spot.
He will listen to commands now, Data.
I thought you wanted a Borg cat.
So this is the one time we're actually going with the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Usually they just quote that and then go with the needs of the one.
This
Yeah,
rewatch,
but the-
I'm really glad they didn't do like a Data thing, because I feel like that would have been retreading a lot of Data stuff and maybe making it too much about his experience in trying to be human and trying to be an individual.
Everybody quotes the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, but you cannot ignore the importance that it's what the one chooses.
Yeah, it's Kirk's defining characteristic is that he's very much himself, and that makes him successful but unpredictable.
This is gotta be one of the best episodes. It's this dialogue heavy. The episode is almost all dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird
It's
about
really
that.
good dialogue.
Yeah.
Now, who wrote this episode?
Yeah, I mean,
Who
other
was
than
this?
costumes.
TNG,
Wasn't it?
iBorg,
Did we
Memory
find out?
Alpha.
Did we find out it's someone who also wrote some really bad episodes?
Written by Renee Echeverria, directed by Robert Lederman.
I'm thinking something else. I think.
I want to say Jerry Taylor did an uncredited rewrite on this.
Well, let me
No,
check.
correct me
Jerry.
if I'm wrong, but the star's chromosphere is like
gonna say
really
Barton
close,
Wall,
if
but no.
not the surface of the star, right?
According to Memory Alpha, Jerry Taylor provided an uncredited polish on the script.
Isn't that? Don't showrunners do that a lot? I mean,
Yeah, that does happen. That's going to happen over multiple episodes in a season for sure.
Memory Alpha also pointed out a problem with the episode that we didn't notice. Hugh used the pronoun I much earlier in the episode than he was supposed to. When he asked Crusher in the Forge, do I have a name?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Not do we have a name.
Was that an error in the script or in filming? Does it say?
Let me open it up again.
That Borg has a mustache.
It's funny we didn't notice that.
Should it be we or this unit?
Does this
Or
unit
this
have
drone?
Either would work. I think we would probably be best.
It was an error in
should
the
say
script,
why.
but by the
They
time
should
they
say
noticed
we.
it was already filmed, so it was too late.
So the drone on the left, his job is to give power, because that was the power node, right? That he just plugged into. So he's
Yeah.
like a feeder. He's like a wet nurse.
He's a refueling drone.
He is a wet nurse.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
No, well, Borg have jobs to do.
Kind of.
Isn't there like that
Borg
one,
has a job to do.
that one ant in that particular species of ants that has like the big pouch of sugar water on it that it goes and feeds the other ants?
We talk about anything else?
Yeah. Why is
So
this
about
planet
Riker's
snowy?
cannibalism
Spoiled
simulator.
for
What do you mean? Why is this planet? This
Oh,
planet's snowy
no.
because it's cold. What do you mean?
I mean, why can't we see Geordi's breath?
Oh, that's so good.
Maybe it's
that's really awesome.
It's also strange that the Borg did not confront Geordi and the Borg ship did not confront the Enterprise.
They never confront individuals. The ship may be weird, yeah.
They just saw like one
Oh, they
human
didn't see the ship.
inexplicably on this planet by himself, and they're like,
They just don't care.
yeah.
Because it was a Borg rescue vessel, not an assimilation vessel. There are rules here we have to follow.
That's fair.
Hey, this next one coming up, I like that one.
Yes,
I like
the next
that one.
phase
I
is
li-
the
I
next
like-
episode.
I like that
Oh,
one
yeah.
a lot.
1 minute
Yeah,
countdown
one of my
starting
favorites.
now.
It's a
Yeah,
solid day.
Borg's really good. The scary ghost girl. I don't know if that was so good. It was okay. It was fine.
I hate that
That
episode.
was not fine. That was a bad episode.
Well, I mean, I don't even really know what happened in it because it was just Discord talk the whole time.
Yeah.
There was a scary
Yeah, but
little
I'm
ghost
wondering-
girl who threw a piece of clay at Alexander.
You didn't miss anything.
I should get going.
Yeah.
Okay,
Peace.
All right,
and long life.
all right, bye.
Yeah, this is a really good Row episode. This is probably the best Row episode.
Yeah. The reason why one of the reasons why I like this episode is because, so this is after.
Hang on, Kevin, hold that thought. Everybody get ready to
yeah.
press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Continue.
Okay, so this is after the transport accident, and they got phased. They're basically invisible, like
Yep.
they can't be seen. But behind the scenes, when the actors are like going on the turbo lift, let's go see. They have to ignore the actors
Yes.
being there as
Oh, yeah.
if they're not there.
Yeah, it's a lot of physical acting. There's a lot of miming and that kind of stuff.
They have
Yeah,
to
there's,
refilm
like-
a lot because people are accidentally looking over at Geordi and Ro.
Right.
Oh, yeah, probably.
You have to be cognizant of blocking a lot because you want to get close, but not too close, and that kind of thing. And then at the end, when they're going through pain as they're coming back,
Well,
basically the actors just have to shake, and it looks a little silly.
Yeah.
But
Well, they can look at the actors who's supposed to be dead, but they can't talk to them or no.
They
It's a
can't
reflection
even
of
look
Well,
at
if they
them.
eye
hope in the-
contact.
in the nice
Oh,
though.
okay.
yeah, if you look at them when they're there, and if you're prone to make eye contact too, and that's just gonna kind of ruin the illusion.
Okay.
So I got a question. If they're phased and they can't interact with regular matter, how come they don't just go through the floor? Or how do they breathe?
Don't
How do
worry
they
about it.
breathe? How do they
Floors
see?
are magical.
science.
That's always the case with
The air
with
is also
ghosts and other
magical.
things.
Yeah, the science is schlock in this, and that's fine because it's less about that than it is sort of Rose's journey.
My headcanon is that the gravity plating somehow doesn't let them through it.
Oh, I kind of like that.
How do they breathe then?
Well, that you have to take on a leap of faith, but yeah.
Yeah.
Then when she tosses the Romulan out,
I have the answer. Don't worry about it.
So technically, being out of phase isn't necessarily being in a different dimension or anything like that.
But they can like walk through walls and stuff.
Yeah, they can walk through walls. What's the floor but another wall?
Right.
If you're
They
wondering
shouldn't be able to
how
walk through
eat
walls.
and
Technically, they
breathe.
should be, just as corporeal as before, but they should be just like out of phase with them for a few seconds, like microseconds. So they wouldn't be visible or audible, but they would still be able to interact with things.
Did you just swear on my Star Trek?
She said hell.
Working within the rules established by the episode, they're out of phase with regular matter, and they can walk through stuff, and they can pass through people, and so they should just the ship should be moving, and they should get left behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In space.
And the ship's moving right now, presumably. It should just immediately.
Everything's moving.
Yeah.
In the frame of reference of the universe, they should.
All right, they're dead. We did it. No more Geordie and Roe. Do not skip the intro. Don't skip it. You gotta watch through. We gotta point out the stars. It's very important.
Every time.
Not yet. These stars are fine. That's all correct.
Please got this, Sarah.
Wait for it.
Wait. Hold. Now. Bye.
Ew.
We can't not point. There's nothing else to do during the intro. What am I supposed to do? Like load up Super Smash Brothers and play a quick game? It's just the same thing every single time.
Geordie has one of my favorite lines in this episode where he says, "Are you saying I'm some sort of blind ghost with clothes?"
This is the only season with the sparkly texts.
Oh yeah.
Only season 5 has the sparkly text.
Wow, sparkly text. Very exciting. So yeah, warm weather is just the worst, right? Cold weather's where it's at. Like 50 to 55 degrees is ideal.
Yeah. That's fine. But when I'm shoveling snow up to past my shoulder and it's like 3 meters tall, no. My driveway is too big for that.
Chilly enough that you could wear like a sweater or have a blanket when you're at your computer, just hanging out, watching some Star Trek.
If it was Chief O'Brien, they wouldn't have screwed up.
Yeah, that engineer is going to be in trouble.
That transporter lady, she sounds exactly like the DS9 computer to me. Is that the same person?
Oh, I don't know.
I need to look this up. She just sounds exactly like her. TNG, the next phase, IMDb.
I don't know, but after today, she's being transferred to voice reclamation.
Mirak for all. Okay, I don't know who any of these people are. I should probably just look up DS9 computer voice instead and see if that matches. Judy Durand. Okay.
Not the same person.
Just sounds very similar. Star Trek Armada 2, Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, Star Trek Armada, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Shelby Leverington plays Brosmer.
So she does actually show up in TNG, but as a different character. She's in Unification Part 2 as Anne-Marie. I don't know who that is. Amory? I don't know.
This is directed by David Carson, who this is the last episode of TNG. He directed 4 episodes of DS9 and the movie Star Trek Generations.
Let me bring up a picture here on YouTube. This is the voice of the DS9 computer. That's her. Actual Melota. Apparently her name is Anne-Marie in that episode.
We get Worf and a Romulan manually ejecting the core.
But they don't have a core.
Doesn't she offer Riker some type of death stick? And he's like, no thanks, I'm trying to quit.
Yes. She offers him some salt, a salt stick. Though it's implied it's not actually just salt. It's something else.
The manual injection is in the floor.
Yep. And this is all fine and good, but you gotta get the door closed.
Some shards of glass
Just
on
love
the
the way
floor.
this is shot. Yeah, there's a lot of glass. Just love the
I
way
mean,
this
we're
is
really
shot.
not doing anything with the dead Geordi plot line yet. Dead Geordi, dead row.
Can I point one thing out? If in the 24th century we can't invent glass that doesn't break, we have no business being in space. None.
Transparent aluminum.
Transparent aluminum.
How many episodes do we see some type of glass break, though?
Well, these are
Too many.
Romulans. Maybe they don't
I
use
think the
transparent.
TNG movies too.
In Generations, I'm pretty sure the glass breaks when they crash. But I mean, that's crashing onto a whole planet at, orbit speeds. I think that's fair.
But aluminum wouldn't shatter.
Transparent aluminum is just sapphire, so it might.
Maybe.
I think that actually some cell phones use synthetic sapphire as their screen, and they still break, but they're pretty tough.
Okay, we saved the Romulans. We did it. Episode's over. It's done. We solved it. All we have to do is bring them home. Oh, they're not gonna bring them over. They're just gonna leave them. Oh, hey, there's Tracy. And was that the dad from the Ghost Girl episode?
No, I don't think so.
No. And Picard does not care at all about this person laying on the floor. For reasons that will become clear shortly.
I love this because when you first see this, you have no idea what's going on yet. So it's just confusing. Like, why did he walk right past her?
Was become clear upon.
Because picking up an unconscious woman is beneath him, obviously.
It's just one of the many drunks on the ship.
Nobody else
Pass
cares
out the
about her.
hallway.
Speaking onto an intercom, nobody else cares about her.
So yeah, how is she on the floor right now? How does that work?
Yeah.
It works very well.
Like, wouldn't she be through part of the floor at least? I don't know.
Right. That's even if it's the gravity plating, she should sink in a little bit into the carpet, right? But I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's the thing.
They have to consciously try and put effort into moving through something, and just the gravity isn't enough.
This is almost always the problem with non-corporeal beings. Like, this happens on Angel too, when
I'm started.
when
Like
Spike is
the
incorporeal, and he actually falls to the floor, but only when he falls over. So it's like it's the feet that are important, apparently.
Are ghosts
she
tethered
walks to
by
the door here,
gravity?
it
Like,
almost snaps on her.
Special ghost shoes.
And this is kind of what Kevin was referencing. Like, they have to very, very consciously not respond to anything she says or does.
It would be tricky.
how can Geordi and Ro talk to each other? If talking is just vibrating the air, how do they receive that?
Ooh, good.
And how can
question.
everyone else not receive that if they're vibrating the actual air molecules?
Hashtag don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, right?
Maybe there's a bunch of air that's also out of phase on the ship. Just there from some other happenstance.
If Ro actually thinks they're ghosts, right? And she's on the Enterprise, where's all the hundreds of other ghosts of all the people who have died in the last 5 years.
They've moved on.
This,
Yeah,
this
she doesn't
ship
know.
of
She doesn't
horrors traveling through
Maybe-
space.
Maybe
would
you
be
have
haunted.
some kind of penance you have to pay before you're allowed to leave this plane. You know, that's the thing, which is
Is that
she
woman's
has to
ghost still
question
stuck
her
halfway through the floor?
spirituality.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was thinking. Ugh.
The one that got
It's gonna be
One
hard
that
to
fell
hard to
halfway
ignore
through.
people like Ryan said.
Oh, that was quite good.
How can you just ignore people if it's hard?
They're
Yeah.
I don't know how they
professionals.
did that actually.
Yeah,
They
Walking
just
through
filmed
the-
it twice.
Yeah,
One with Rose standing there, one with Picard standing there,
Without standing there.
First.
and one with nobody standing there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I was just wondering
like
about that too.
rotoscoping or
Yeah,
something. Just
thinking
like
about that, yeah.
It's just
That's what
multiple
happened.
plates. So they would film
Yeah.
with nothing there, and then they overlay the film that they used with Ro on top of
Yeah.
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
underneath rather the scene where Picard walks by.
Yeah, so
And
see it.
it's some way of
multiple
masking
takes.
out the parts that they don't want to use. Then it's
Yeah.
like masking out the part of her hand that's not there. That
It's
should be left out instead.
a really old trick in filmmaking.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Hmm.
they were doing that in the 20s. Like
Same
this
thing
is
with
not
the
new
having a
technology.
laptop.
Oh, 17th of January,
get around.
2340, Ensign Row.
Further going around to that laptop, they had to do the same thing. They had to move it out of place, and then when the hand got to the end, they had to move it back in place. So
Well, for the stuff where they go through stuff, that's just the actor themselves in front of the screen. You can tell there's a very definite kind of
Oh.
matting imagery.
okay. Now think
So it
about
looks different in those shots where they go through things. They clearly look very different.
okay. Now think about it. They probably. I mean, they put. I wonder. They probably could have used it with people too. In the doors, where
Yeah.
we saw him sick bay just now.
Yeah, it's just a really simple kind of effect, but it gets the job done for what they need here.
All right. Yeah.
So is this an episode where the Romulans don't actually have a secret plot?
they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
They,
Yeah.
I believe-
no, it's not a
They
plot.
put
Is
it-
it?
working
Don't they
on-
have just some aliens moved into their engine core?
No, they
No,
sabotage.
You're
Wrong
thinking of the other
episode.
one.
They sabotage the Enterprise with the power transfer, and that's what. Well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but
So what happened here is that Romulans had problems because they're experimenting with the phase cloak, which shows up later on in TNG.
Season
Yeah.
7.
And the phase cloak is what caused the transporter accident that phased Geordi and Ro.
Yeah.
The explosion
need
that
to
they
Cover
experienced,
up.
the explosion that they experienced that disabled their ship is the same thing that happened to the Pegasus, except in this case it didn't phase the ship out of existence, it just sort of failed.
That was a cover up.
Yeah,
And
so
they
have to
really
cover it up.
don't want the Federation to notice what they're experimenting with here, which is the reason that they didn't start the thing that goes to the power transfer beam to destroy
some
the
type of
Enterprise.
feedback on the
Great
power.
moment here where Worf makes a suggestion. Riker actually listens to him and takes his
Yeah.
suggestion, and then Worf
Yeah.
takes a moment to thank him.
I mean, okay, we all love that compilation of Worf getting denied over and over again. I need to make one of people actually listening to Worf. And
Actually
actually
saw
follow
that
his
too,
Pretty
suggestions.
short.
It'll be
Yeah,
short.
done.
So it'll be easy to make.
Yeah.
There's this.
I also like the yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am.
How,
To get
Yeah.
to engineering.
how do they have reflections?
Yeah.
Can people see them in the reflections?
Yeah, if they can see each other, can they see each other's reflections and their own reflections?
And if they just stayed phased, would they have just died of dehydration and starvation?
Well, that's the thing. At the end, Geordi's eating like a pig, and he's like, "I haven't eaten for 2 days."
If they try to use the
Well, wait,
toilet
how-
to just phase through?
And how can they see both each other and everything else?
Oh,
Yeah,
imagine
again,
if you're on
like
the
the
deck
science is
below,
wrong.
and all of a sudden
Yeah.
a phased turd falls in your lap. I guess you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
Like that's the thing. Like they have to hitch rides with other people on the turbo lift and on the shuttle. You know,
Oh, yeah.
because they can't.
No, it's
Otherwise,
not
they
what I
can't.
expected, though.
Yeah,
Some
they can't
kind
go
of
through
joke?
ceiling or floor, only walls.
I'm dead, Jim.
Now, does Geordi believe in ghosts? Apparently Ro does, but she's a Bajoran, and all Bajorans are super religious.
She should Bajoran, yeah.
Some sort of spirit.
Bajorans have their own beliefs.
We get some lore here, and then we get the really great Geordie line.
Kira
Now,
had her
what-
beliefs, but she's Bajoran too.
How come
Some sort of blind ghost
blind
with clothes?
clothes? How come ghosts were always depicted
Blind
with
ghosts with
whatever they
clothes.
were just wearing when they lived? Did their clothes die with them? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. We mentioned Beetlejuice earlier. That's a thing in Beetlejuice, which is you when you die, you look like what killed you, so you could be like cut in half or have your head missing or something. along
Would
with
you
your clothes.
rather they be naked?
Yes.
Okay.
They died at a Betazoid wedding.
And putting a lot of Wizard Ratters.
There's a number of times in Star Trek. I talked about this in the Discord text chat a couple days ago, where Chakotay and Janeway and a lot of other people also should have been naked on Voyager in one episode.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
you mean the episode where Tuvok
Jumping through time periods.
Tuvok was naked?
no, the episode where the ships split up into different time periods, and whenever okay, listen to her voice.
Oh,
Yeah, this lady's in trouble.
Doesn't she sound like the DS9 computer?
She really does sound a lot like her. Yeah.
yeah. She does sound a lot like her. That might have been the same actor that played that voice.
No, it's not. We already
It's not
looked.
her, but she sounds exactly the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we checked.
This actress's name's Shelby Leverington, and this is her only appearance in TNG or in any Star Trek.
I would be kind of concerned if you only had an ensign after being around this long.
Yeah.
I mean, we see
Yeah,
that
she's
other places too. Like there are older officers in Starfleet.
Yeah.
It's kind of shown to be like,
Well,
either it is a career choice where they like what they're doing and they don't care about promotions, or Starfleet is just that diverse and they will take returning adults.
That older
don't
man
the
who just
combat-
walked by was
at the-
also an ensign.
Well,
At the end, they-
Tapestry, Picard is as old as he is and still an ensign, right?
at the end of this episode, Picard says something at the memorial thing where he thought, Ro, if not for, I forget what he references, should have made like lieutenant commander by now.
Why don't the comm badges work?
Because they don't worry about it. Don't worry.
That's also phased.
Well, but they should work to communicate with each other then. Or
Right.
maybe they only work
Because it
through
can't
the...
be conferred
Oh,
through
no.
the computer system.
Wait, she can
In
touch the
Do they,
controls.
do they work,
She
do they
touched the
work on
panel.
away missions, though? Can they communicate with each other on away missions? The communicators, they can't, right? So
Right.
they're not actually dependent on the ship.
Right, so they should be able to communicate with each other, at least.
Yeah, I agree.
In the Tapestry alternate universe, Picard is, I think, lieutenant junior grade in science.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, since Starfleet just
So he
accepts
does get
anyone they want.
some promotion.
The whole point of the Federation
Yeah.
is you can do anything you want with your life. So some people just, they spend the
That makes
first 30
sense.
years doing some painting. They spend a few years making, I don't know, chairs. Then they just join Starfleet because they're bored.
That sounds good to me. I don't know.
I mean, I would join as an enlisted officer just to be in space.
Ro here with a nice moment.
Would you, though? Would you really want to? These places are death traps.
Fair enough. No, I definitely would want to. I want to be in space right now. I would.
I
If
like-
somebody,
Yeah,
if somebody
I
came
would
to me
want
and
to.
handed me a ticket to the ISS tomorrow, I would be like,
yeah.
okay, let's go.
I like in Picard, like the first episode, the doctor's like, "You really want to go back out there in the cold? Like, really?" That's perfect way to describe it, though.
Yeah.
You're like, do you really want to be back out there in nothing?
The people on
Ro
Star
here
Trek who are actually
with a nice
afraid of
heart.
space are probably the most rational people on the show.
Yeah.
Ro always acts like she doesn't care what other people think of her, but she's like very concerned. Like
Yeah.
with this, like she wanted to know what Riker would say at her memorial. She like is very tender here in giving gratitude towards Picard for kind of giving her a chance to prove herself.
Yeah.
The
How did they
subtitles
travel
there.
across the ship?
When Geordi said we're gonna need some help, the subtitle said Gunna for gonna.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen that spelling before.
Because it's wrong. That's not how you spell gonna.
I know. It is reasonable,
Gunner
though.
is a machine gunner.
No, not a machine gunner. I'm an American. I pronounce my R's.
There is an entire subset of American dialects that do not pronounce their R's.
I'm a
Yeah.
Californian. We pronounce our R's.
Pretty small minority of Americans that speak them, though.
No, it's most of the South.
And Boston.
Who cares
Yeah,
about
you're
the
right.
South?
South.
The South
I'm
is
in
the worst
Ohio.
part. Why would you go there?
Yeah.
That's not nice. There's lots of nice people in the South.
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
About
It doesn't have a good reputation.
No, but also the reputation is also perpetuating the stereotype. So like
True.
I'm strictly opposed to people who like use a southern accent to portray a lack of intelligence, because there are a lot of smart people down there. All that kind of stuff. It's toxic in US discourse, and it's not meant to be like a slam at you, Ryan. It's just that it's endemic to American society.
Am I allowed to make fun of Florida specifically?
I mean,
Florida man.
Yeah, if you like
It's
low
America's
hanging
way.
fruit.
I do
Star
like low
Wars
hanging
or
fruit. Yes,
Florida.
it's very easy to pick. It's the best kind.
So Data here is going under Captain Picard's orders to plan this memorial, and Data said, "I don't think either human or Bajoran customs are appropriate." What? Why not? You have a human and a Bajoran.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to have a joint memorial anyway. Like two separate ones might make more sense anyway. Also, Worf is like the last guy you should be asking this kind of stuff about, I think. And I think he basically admits as much here.
Is dying in the
neither-
transporter accent honorable if they were Klingons? Would they go to Stovakar?
He's neither Bajoran. He's neither human nor Bajoran. So is Worf.
Also,
he
it's
died in service, so
Oh,
it's
thank
important
you.
to note that
Worf just said it
on
is
real
honorable.
life dog tags, it's customary to have your religion printed on that too, so that somebody knows what
Oh,
kind of
interesting.
memorial service to give you that's in accordance with your last wishes.
That would freak me out a little bit. Like having a dog tag would probably freak me out for that reason.
Yeah,
Oh, we got
I
some.
never
evil
realized that that's sort of what their purpose was, until relatively recently, and it kind of freaked me out.
I don't know
Puts
if
a
I entirely
whole new-
realized that until now. It
Puts
is.
a whole
Yeah,
new-
I would hate to have a reminder of my mortality on me at all times.
Puts a whole new thing on how you look at GI Joe logos when you're 9 or whatever.
Oh God.
if you don't want a constant reminder of your own mortality, you better not listen to your heartbeat.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, it does freak me out a bit.
Sometimes, but I would want to think that your breathing and your heartbeat are the most
Right.
fundamental signs of life, not death.
How do you feel about the
True.
fact that your body is slowly decaying and it's never going to get better again?
Yeah, not enjoying it.
No, it's not a.
I like Jordy with his whole face in a computer terminal just checking things out here.
You never
How
have
is his
to-
visor working right now?
Very well.
Stop
Thanks for
asking
asking.
these questions.
You know, if everything's out of phase,
Don't worry about it.
A
should he just
phase
be
ship
like
could hide
about it.
anywhere,
Why
even
not?
inside a planet. Now,
See,
you say
Jordy's
that,
putting it all
Jordy.
together. I love this. It's like a detective story too. Like it's God, what a good episode.
It never got out of the research stages because there was a government cover-up. They actually built one.
Jordy reads the trades. He knows what's going on.
It's not like he has anything else to do. He doesn't have a social
Yeah,
life.
he barely has any. Yeah, he barely has any friends.
Yeah, nothing else to do.
They don't watch TV. They don't play games except with Sherlock Holmes.
Well, they don't play games except with Picard.
The interface generator. There we go. Evil plot.
Oh, Romulans. You win your schemes.
They're so predictably treacherous.
Oh, by the way, reference to the Borg.
Curse
The
your-
Romulan woman here returns in Voyager to play the Borg Queen.
Oh,
Okay.
Dun dun dun.
wait, is it? I thought the Borg Queen was the same actress from First
They bring her
Contact.
back later. They changed the
Oh, okay.
Queen actress temporarily.
Yeah.
One
Alice
of the
Krige was
Romulans
not
is
available
phased,
for
as
most
if
of
you didn't notice. He's also phased out and
He
couldn't
just
interfere
phased
with
through the
them.
TARDIS control panel.
Yeah, Alice Krige was not available for most of Voyager, but the actress who played the Queen in Voyager was not available for the finale, so Alice Krige returned.
Oh.
Weren't we?
So yeah, this really is very similar to the episode where it's frozen in time, and they have to go investigate the Enterprise and the Romulan ship. Because on that same
Yeah.
episode, there was
Oh,
also
yeah.
a Romulan that was secretly in the same time frame as
Yep.
the other people.
Yeah, he was
Yep,
freeze
and
framed.
we watched that recently.
He
You
freeze
mean
framed himself.
timescapes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
timescape.
Timescape. It's basically the exact same episode as this, with a different flavor. It's a different coat of paint.
Yeah.
Which I'm good with. 160 odd episodes.
Timescape?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she's
What,
not even a
season
full
6?
ensign.
Okay.
Good grief.
What does that even mean? What is her rank?
She's a chief. Chief Brosmer.
Sub ensign.
So is she unenlisted?
She's
or
enlisted. She's a non-commissioned.
Enlisted, yeah.
Oh yeah, isn't that what the empty pet means? Enlisted, right?
Yeah.
Unless
Next
you're
Generation,
O'Brien,
that's
in
what-
which case he's a lieutenant or an ensign or a lieutenant commander or whatever he feels like that day.
I say she's the new O'Brien.
whatever serves the plot at the moment.
Yeah, for the moment.
Continuity.
In Star
You're O'Brien
Trek,
for a moment.
ridiculous. Continuity is not really a thing.
No.
Man, that guy just looks evil.
Yeah, he looks like he stepped out of the Munsters or something.
I think it's the shadowing under his eyes from the lighting.
Yeah. Very
The fact that we have a
sunken eye
nice
kinda look.
downward
Someone
camera
mentioned,
angle.
Looks big too.
Someone
Steve-
mentioned in the chat that really great moment where they cut to right before they cut to commercial, where you see everyone's frozen and then all of a sudden the Romulan like moves. It's very like out of a horror movie.
My God.
Yeah. I'm not sure why Chief
For like
O'Brien
Twilight
isn't.
Zone.
I'm not sure why Chief O'Brien isn't in this episode, other than maybe Colin Meaney wasn't available, because like this is just before several months before the premiere of Deep Space Nine, so maybe that's why he wasn't available. They were probably filming.
That seems
When I
that's
saw this
really
episode
likely.
for the first, when I saw this episode for the first time, and Geordi realizes that he's able to do this, make Data sense. Oh, what happened? I thought he was eventually going to like write on the floor, like SOS.
Oh yeah,
Something weird
that's
trap.
the part that like Stranger Things style. Yeah. I love that bit of Stranger Things when they
I
figure out a
thought
similar
Right there.
means of communication.
Yeah, I thought for sure that that's how they were going to get out of this situation.
Would have made sense.
You know what the most
Instead, they had
unrealistic
to-
thing about this episode is? It's that Geordi and Ro immediately got used to just like walking through tables and walking through walls. Because if you guys have ever played in a VR headset, like there is objects or tables
yeah.
around that aren't
Oh,
real.
that's right.
A lot of movement there.
Yeah,
But it's still really hard to bring
Absolutely.
yourself to actually go through them.
it's true.
The
It's
disruptor,
true.
the disruptor works, but the communicators do not.
Yeah,
And like, did he test it? I guess I don't know.
Well, you wouldn't bet your life that the disruptor won't work.
yeah, it's
Put it
true.
that way.
She's gonna bet
These are actually
she's
nice
gonna bet
powers.
Riker's life on that.
No, they're not.
Well, when she finally does pull it, it's a pretty ballsy move, but she uses what she's learned as far as like, going through walls and stuff. It's an evil chase scene too.
They're ghosts.
It's not liquid anymore. It's more gelatinous.
They're ghosts. They can go for wherever they want.
I just realized something.
Yes.
Hey, he's
Lonely Geordie LaForge, able to walk through walls, and he's completely invisible.
No, let's not go there. Let's leave that thought just on the table where it is.
Well, when Ro's running through quarters later, there's like, a woman clearly getting ready for bed, and it's like, at least we didn't, jump in on her like a few seconds earlier than this.
So just looking up, Emissary, the pilot for DS9, entered production exactly a month after this episode aired. So it's unlikely that that's the reason that he wasn't available for this. So I'm not sure why they didn't have Chief O'Brien.
I mean, Colin Meaney's got other things to
Pre-production,
do.
or he might have
He
had
has
a
a life.
movie project. Yeah, he
Well,
was
I mean,
doing a
the
lot
thing
of
is-
movies in the 90s too.
Yeah, that's true. It's not likely. I'm just clarifying that my theory that it was Deep Space Nine that interrupted him coming onto this is.
Well,
not
you said
accurate.
it hadn't entered production yet, but it's possible.
Oh,
they
there
were
she is.
pre-screenings and stuff, right?
Well, so Emissary entered production a month after this episode aired, which means that if they were filming this, it was probably several months before any of this started. Any Deep Space Nine
Probably
stuff.
the same things for where they would normally do. Like they would do
K-Cup keeps
shootings
him very busy.
of someone out
Yeah,
of
it was-
the room and in the room and so on.
Yeah, it's a neat kind of thing here, guys.
Cleaning
working out.
tables.
Notice how the camera stops moving before they have to run through him.
Yes.
The last thing they needed was to have to sync the motion of the camera.
Yeah, no kidding.
They could with a
Excuse me.
rig.
Also, I think it's funny that in this future you still have to have people working out. Like you would think they would have come up with some kind of technology that works out for you, or
Ladies,
some medical modifications.
It's a good way to de-stress, though.
Everybody should have 6-pack abs just automatically.
There's probably
I
some
mean-
rules against that, given how strongly against they are to genetic modification and augmenting people. They're big
Yeah,
on
but I would
improving
think there
yourself
would be, like-
naturally.
I would think there would
Well,
be like
there's-
some device that you could just put like a VR headset on, and it'll actually like manipulate your brain and your extremities to do the
that
workout
poor
while
man.
you just sort of get distracted by everything else.
The
Great
the
scene
uniforms,
here.
the costumers actually they have shoulder pads and pec pads in the men's uniforms here, so
Yes.
to make them look more buff.
Swole.
They didn't need to do that with Enterprise. Holy crap, those guys were built.
Yeah. We get that scene where Archer and Commander Tucker take their shirts off to play a desert game, and yeah, they work out.
I mean, Travis was the biggest. I mean, he was unbelievable.
Do we ever see Travis without a shirt on?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he get a
I think so,
massage
yeah.
from Paul?
I don't think I did.
No,
but
Trip gets massages from T'Pol. No, not
I'm
massages.
just saying that.
They're totally
Oh,
platonic
Travis, you
neuropressure
said.
therapy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Travis the helmsman.
Okay, I thought you said Trip.
I
Or I
mean,
was
Trip
thinking
is
Trip when
Trip
you
is
said Travis.
fit as well. I mean, Connor Trenier was in great
Yeah.
shape during that, but like Travis was the one who like was clearly almost a bodybuilder. And like you don't even need to see him without his shirt on. There's that one episode where he goes back to the cargo ship that he grew up on, and he puts on like civilian clothes, and he is almost bursting out of whatever shirt they found for him.
we stopped him from saying the word engage. We stopped him from saying the trademark word.
Yeah, were you able to tell where Proxmer tilted his head toward Picard?
Or who tilted their head?
To look at Picard, because sometimes you have to tilt your head just to see somebody when there's a million people in the room. It's hard to see people. There you can really tell that someone is really that there's actors really in the room. You know what I mean? Just Does it make sense or no?
So going back to Enterprise for a second, people do often complain, including me, about the pretty excessive showing of, a lot of things, particularly in the decon chamber. Just very sexualizing basically everyone. However, to its credit, it doesn't only sexualize women, it sexualizes the men too. It's equal opportunity sexualization, objectification.
I mean, sort of.
That is a good thing.
The sexualization of women is persistent though, because like the men are all and the other women are all wearing that Starfleet uniform, except to Paul, who is in the bodysuit the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But like they also have
pulling those teenage
all the
boys
men
here somehow.
are bodybuilders when they go to the decon chamber and are rubbing gel all over themselves and
Oh, he's about to be the disruptor firing.
7 of 9 was so successful in boosting Voyager's ratings, they figured, well, we'll just start early in Enterprise. And
Yeah, the thing is,
Data Book's a Dixieland band for
yeah,
for the memorial here.
it's a Louisiana thing. Like
why though? Jordy's not from that area. Rose definitely not from that area.
Yeah.
Riker to Jazz. He's from Alaska.
Every Easter, certain churches have, the Sunday school thing where they say, "Let's plan your funeral so that it's according to your wishes."
Oh, that one sounds fun to me, Jordy.
I went to Sunday school. We never did that. Thank God.
So Jordy was
Otherwise,
born in
you
Somalia.
get something wacky.
Jordy's Somalian.
About to fire one.
And I don't think they have Dixieland in Somalia. I don't think that's a thing.
Wait, here it comes.
Oh shit!
Bro, what are you doing? What is wrong with you?
How do you not understand or get hurt? You gotta be hurt by it.
Honestly, I don't even get why they're picking out specific targets. It seems like they should just keep their finger on the trigger and just saturate the whole area. Just
Maybe
keep
overheat
going.
the gun.
They end up doing like kind of a big thing. So
I think she sounds like the computer because her delivery is so like
robotic.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I can
it's
relate
not
to
it.
that.
like here where they have to pretend to be hurt. Like this is kind of a weird acting thing.
Ah, Felon.
Felon, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. You brought in that picture of Travis. Let me put that on screen. Look at Travis. Look at how much this man works out.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen him.
See, they didn't have
worked
power
out.
steering on the starship yet, so he had to be really strong.
We do actually get scenes of a lot of people working out in the ship's gymnasium in Enterprise. In fact, including that weird, like, spinny thing where you have to hold on to a sphere and it just rotates in random directions.
They used to have at the mall, and you'd pay like $15 to use it for 15 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes and spin you in it.
15 minutes, God no. It's way too much.
Yeah.
That also seems wildly dangerous.
Yeah, I always thought that it would. This
How
is.
do you not know that's not there?
How does the table provide cover for them if the disruptors phase and their phase wouldn't it just go right?
Just have it, I guess.
And they
Wouldn't the
usually
explosion go right through it?
They usually treat phaser overloads as like being able to destroy an entire deck. For that thing, no, they can just move a few feet away. They'll be fine. Trying very hard not to look directly at their eyes.
They're not ghosts.
Yeah.
You're an android. You gotta know. You gotta know something.
Come on, Data. Now, can we use this in the future to neutralize cloaking devices?
You would hope so.
Maybe it's a power limit. They just can't produce
They
enough
can also-
anion.
You can also use it to discipline your crew, apparently.
Only if they're cloaked.
Jordy, I didn't know you had it in you.
All right, we solved it. We did it. Everyone feels fine.
That would be weird to be in engineering right now.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Who gave that order?
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're
good.
gonna bring it up.
They noticed that. Good. Who the hell was that?
Are they going to explain to everyone else here? Or are they just gonna...
They just came back from the dead just randomly.
Everyone else is
They were
sitting in the
sitting
background like,
Borg,
were we
giving
just
orders.
trolled by the command crew?
Yeah, it's just a prank.
Are we under attack?
We're about to be.
Just a prank, bro, for YouTube.
Yeah, it's all about that.
Ooh,
this a prank?
crossfade. We never get crossfades.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't eat in their ghost form, so now they have way too much food. But you know.
That's what you would do if you had corporeal form again.
Jordy, what do you mean past the rolls? This table's like 3 feet across.
Yeah,
No.
it's weird.
You know what they're not eating? Hasperat.
No Hasperat?
Are
But
they?
there's so
don't know
many
that.
food
They
on the
might be.
table.
Or
Hasperat can
are
look like
they?
anything. It might be Hasperat. Are
He's
those
chewing,
like,
but we never see him actually put anything in his mouth.
are those tiny little thin breadsticks?
Yeah.
That's how you got to eat on TV.
I think
you
they're
gotta
too much on the
chopsticks.
table.
They look like chopsticks.
But they're very curved, which makes me think they're not actually. They look like food.
I remember in
they're
a
food.
like behind the scenes extra
being
about
food.
I think it was Parks and Rec. They were talking about the episode where they were eating hamburgers and how everybody had a spit bucket except for Chris Pratt. He just ate every single hamburger.
Because of course he
Oh,
did.
God.
Because he's Chris Pratt.
That's why when you watch
Nom,
TV
nom,
shows,
nom.
you just see them picking away at their food and not really eating much because, if you got to do like 25, 30 takes. You
Oh,
don't have to
yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah,
have
there's
to
an
eat
episode
that
of
many
Firefly
hamburgers
where
though. That was him.
Captain's got to eat a tomato at the end of the scene, and apparently he had to eat like 5 tomatoes.
Yeah, you don't have
and
to.
just
Yeah.
for continuity too. You have to, the
Yeah.
plot department will have to keep replacing things, and it's just like,
Yeah, you don't have to eat that many hamburgers, do you? Oh no.
He didn't. He could have used the spit bucket. He chose not to. That's on him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does Ro usually wear that earring on their left ear?
Yes.
Kind of feel like
It's
Okay.
one of her
He's-
character
but-
traits that she
right
wears
here-
it as on the opposite ear to other Bajorans.
okay, thank you.
In Deep Space
Just
Nine,
checking.
the Pod Wraith cult wears the earring on the left ear.
Yep. Therefore,
Is Ro actually a member of the Pod Wraith cult? There's an idea for another video.
you know, maybe I will. I have some videos I need to make for next week. Probably need to start doing that today. Because I'm getting my second shot on Wednesday. And I hear that's going to basically just kill me for a couple days. So I need to get ahead on stuff.
It's
So I
a good
didn't really
idea to get
suffer that
ahead.
bad.
It's a good idea to get ahead just in case, but I suffered nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had like a mild headache and I was just slightly tired for that most of that day. So
Okay.
like I didn't suffer all that bad. Which one are you getting? Is it Moderna or Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Yeah, I'm Pfizer. So it didn't hit me that hard.
I got Pfizer
I-
too, and that was last week. I got the shot.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
got my Pfizer. I get my second one on Wednesday. From what I've heard, the second one kind of knocks you out more. So I'm taking Thursday and Friday off of work. So I might even hop on the Discord if there's anything going on.
On,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Go ahead.
on
Ryan.
Wednesday, we're going to be doing the, what is it? The
Continuation
adventure
of
game.
Star Trek. Yeah, continuation of Star Trek Judgment
Judgment
Rights.
Rights,
the
yes.
adventure
We're doing
game.
it on Wednesday because I'm getting the shot later that day, so I want to get that done.
Yeah, when I had the second shot, I didn't. My arm felt sore. I didn't feel anything else.
Good.
Whereas the first shot, not only I felt my arm sore, but I also felt tired. So I actually felt tired during the stream. That was from the shot, but second shot, nothing other than the sore arm, which is normal.
So yeah, upcoming streams. Tomorrow is going to be Deep Space Nine, Blaze of Glory with Eddington's final episode, Empok Nor with Crazy Garrick, and In the Cards, which is going to be our sort of comic relief episode before everything's get real dark.
Baseball card episode.
Deep Space Nine.
Then on Wednesday, we're going to be continuing Star Trek Judgment Rights. That'll be at the same time that we stream. And then TNG next week. It's going to be great. Next week, TNG is amazing. It's The Inner Light, which is, we know what that is. And then, most importantly, we get Mark Twain in Time Zero Parts 1 and 2.
Time Zero?
Time Zero.
Yeah. Time's Arrow, yeah. And The Inner Light is Patrick Stewart's favorite episode.
Time Zero Parts 1 and 2, and then Realm of Fear, with Barclay going sort of transporter crazy.
Oh, that's so good next week.
I remember when they were doing was it Sotheby's auction of the props, or whoever auctioned all the Star Trek props a couple, was it like 15 years ago now? They had an interview with Patrick Stewart, and he's like, I can't believe the flute sold for $50,000. It doesn't even work.
It's not a real flute.
It's not a real flute, yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember seeing there were like 2 or 3 versions of the flute, so maybe one of them did work. But that specific one, it didn't work. Someone just paid tens of thousands of dollars for just a little cylinder of metal.
Piece of wood.
I would have.
Yeah, you put it in a display case. You don't need it to be functional, right? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Does Patrick Stewart get all excited about The Inner Light?
The Inner Light is Patrick Stewart's favorite episode, and
do we see him get all excited about it?
Maybe.
He is British. He doesn't get that excited about things.
Yeah.
So
we may see him excited, but excited about the episode.
The person who wrote The Inner Light also made a comic called The Outer Light, which is a continuation of this episode. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm not sure I care.
It's written, basically the premise is that Picard finds a cryo ship where survivors from that civilization are, including his dead wife.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh, wow.
And then it's a love triangle from...
Why would they freeze a dead person? It's taking up space on a cryo ship.
Okay, she wasn't actually dead at the time that they The wife that he had in that dream vision, whatever it was, is on the cryo ship, as well as that woman's husband, and of course she doesn't know him because it was just a vision thing, but he knows her because she was in the vision thing.
Oh, that doesn't sound like something I would want to explore.
It's a love triangle. I haven't read it.
The best,
yeah.
If I was in his position after waking up, the best thing I can think of doing is writing an entire not novel, but encyclopedia. And look, I literally lived this. This is my story. I need to pass it on to the rest of the universe.
Wait. Remember the episode in Deep Space Nine where O'Brien gets 20 years of incarceration memories implanted into his brain? Or not implanted, they make him experience it. It's like the opposite of what happens to Picard. They instead of having a nice life on a planet with the family, he gets 20 years in prison because O'Brien must suffer.
Yeah, poor O'Brien. He didn't even get to be in today's episode, even though it was all about a chief.
Yeah.
If O'Brien doesn't get to suffer, he doesn't get to be in the episode.
And I'm thinking about it. It would have been kind of cool if he was in this episode.
All right, so yeah, that's coming up. Tomorrow is some good episodes, including the soulless minions of orthodoxy. Should be good. And we'll be back same time. Goodbye. The higher the fewer, by the way.
Bye.
The higher, the fewer.
Have a